Hello, hello, hello. What's up, Westworld riders, visitors, and hosts? We are back once again. I know some of you thought we forgot about you, but we would never do that. Definitely want to give a shout out to my co-hosts because I definitely didn't forget about them and trying to get on all week, but it has been a whirlwind because as you see, we are not at home. We are in the lovely Las Vegas doing what we do. It's that time of the year. The World Series of Poker is up and running, so where the hell else am I going to be? But you know, we had to get it in. It is the finale, the longest show yet, one of the greatest shows yet. We got to get it in. We got to talk about it. I brought two of the best in the biz to do it with me. What is going on? Broke Black Man 94, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. The finale, god damn it. God damn, why they had to do that to my girl LC? That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, I already knew that was coming. I just didn't know it was coming that quick. My man's still heartbroken over it. He's like, it's been a couple days. Time heals all wounds, but it ain't been long enough. Why'd they bring her back and just kill her, BBM? Why'd they do that? That ain't right. It just ain't right. But we're going to talk about it. And the other one going deep with us and going to talk about it. You already know who it is. It's the red bearded knowledge himself, Andy Snafu_Z. He's about to bring it in. I see he's got a little picture. What's going on over there, Andy?
Oh, I heard my name. Sorry, I was just shopping for a challenge that we had. I've been trying to find the right one for days. I can't decide between dried or fresh. Like maybe I could get it overnighted. Will you be there to pick it up, BBM?
No, it ain't even got to ghost peppers.
Oh, he didn't even say ghost peppers. He said host peppers. Just go on and get it in because you already know. You already know.
All right, thanks for having me. So now it's going to be a good long period of me trying to get BBM to eat a ghost pepper on camera because I was right about the damn smirk. And that was the most important thing that we gathered from this whole episode is that I was right about the smirk.
Oh,
it's not the smirk from, was it episode, was it 2 or 3? No, there was another smirk later down the line. Okay. But that first smirk, she was human at that time.
I'm talking about when they test her and she had just said to Bernard, like, hey, I didn't think you had the guts or something to that effect. And then they're like, oh, let's check her. She looks at it and she gets out positive and she smirks a little bit. So that's the same timeline because she was with Bernard they only met up again in the third timeline. So in the most recent, and that happened to be when she was Dolores. So, I mean, you can try to wiggle out of it, but she's a host we're going to live it up.
Charlotte, that was freaking Dolores. Bernard,
that was a host is what I'm saying. That was a host. They went out there to the water and they came back. They're like, it's about to flood. Let's go back. And she came back host. Host. Oh, we called that so early. What was it? I called it last season, but I think Andy was on board by like second episode. That is real. That is real. Hey, what's good, Iron Throne? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. We got the lovely Chrissy of Old Stones. Good to see you back. And we're one and only Red Walrus. Glad to see you out there, buddy. Good to see it. Had to get it in. We're about to go deep into Westworld and I guess some host pepper.
So to be fair, I was on board as soon as the smirk happened. I was like, that was put in there for a reason. And she is a host, right? Like, I know that. At that point, I was like, I'm on board with this. I didn't know when, I didn't know about the stuff before, but I knew at that point, this person is a host. So,
no, your basis was this whole time Charlotte was a host. There was a point in time where Charlotte was a human.
Yeah, well, the one I was talking about, the one that smirked was the host. And that is when I said it. She's a host. Look at this. You can't tell me that she's not a host here. And I was like, she is a host. At this point, she is a host. I'm with DJ. She's a host. Now, it's a pretty big technicality to say, well, no, it's Dolores in her skin.
I never said who it was. I just said she was a host. I didn't say what host. I just said she was a host. Period.
I'm talking about whoever smirked was out.
But she was there.
I'm so good at this that I got it from a little smirk. I was like, from that little tiny smirk, I called what was going to happen, sort of.
We need
to throw that out there.
Episode of timestamps to confirm this.
Oh, absolutely. Chrissy Oldstone, someone needs to shout me out for calling Elsie's death. She got one in herself, you like to call it. We all went down tinfoil lane all season long, and I think we got quite a few of them. We were doing all right on this stream, and I want to say we got more wrong than we got right, but man, I swear we were pulling up 50-50 with some of these because we had called a few of these. But, I mean, some of them, come on. There's no way you could call some of this. They came so out of left field in this episode. I mean, you literally have to be a psychic to like call what was going on because there's no way. It's like, oh yeah, and by the way, no, we're gonna get into it, but there's nobody that called everything. It would have been impossible. But just real quick, overall feels about this finale. How'd you like it, BBM?
It was a good finale, though. Not gonna lie, they tied up, some plots. They gave us some answers. But at the same time, even more questions. And then when we thought it was over, nope, they hit us with a Marvel Studios, after credit scene. And this year's after credit scene was like, what? What's going on here? Like throughout the whole episode, I was like, okay, what happened with the Man in Black thing? Then we see him on the island. I'm like, okay, maybe Delos workers did like pick him up. And then they show us this after credit scene of him going down the elevator. I'm like, shit. Oh, I just can't wait. I just can't wait for season 3. That's if they decide to even touch upon it in season 3. What you thought about it, Andy?
Oh man, I thought it was great. I was with you from the point where the Man in Black went down there until we saw him again after the credits. I was like, what the hell happened to the Man in Black? I'm going to be so mad at this show if they leave it like he went down there and you don't tell. Like, that is not a setup for the next season. Come on, Westworld, you're not The Walking Dead. But they didn't leave me hanging, and they brought in something at the end I don't want to, like, toot my own horn, but it kind of seems like torture to the Man in Black to keep bringing him back. And someone said that, like, a few episodes ago. It might have been me.
Oh, right about the same time, his daughter came in and told Akichara that what I have in store is much, much worse. Is that the much, much worse that she was talking about?
Exactly. I mean, obviously, this isn't his real daughter at this point, or maybe it is. Shit, maybe she turned into us. We don't know. We'll have to talk about that later, about the wonderful setup to next season. That's probably my favorite part. They did a good job last season where the show probably could have ended and you wouldn't, like, if it didn't have really great ratings, it could have ended and you've been like, all right, we're just going to assume that the host took over the world from this point, right? Mm-hmm. In this season, they knew they had good ratings, so they left enough open for you to be like, oh shit, now what's going to happen? The show could not end this season. You would accept that. And I thought that was a good job of doing that. One of my favorite parts.
Absolutely. And I really do like how they do that, how they make each season like its own storyline. Like it all ties together and they definitely leave you wanting more and you're looking forward to the next season. But they also wrap it up. I mean, it could be wrapped up and never shown again and you wouldn't be totally hating it because it does. It's like it was its own storyline. It wrapped up to a point. Obviously, it's got to leave some cliffhangers and leave you wanting a little bit more. But I really like how they did. I mean, season 1 was the same way. So I think they did a really good job with that. What's up, chat? What do you guys think about the overall feeling of it? Welcome, Living My Rhapsody. Glad to see you out there. Chrissy Oldstones, what do you think about this season overall? Did you love this season? Did you hate it? Was it just okay? Did they touch you on all the right feels in the finale? I know they left a few things out there, but, you know, they did a pretty decent job. It wasn't the greatest episode. Still, I mean, I think for 90, maybe that's high, but it feels like for 90% of the Westworld fandom out there, episode 4 was just like the end all be all with the James Delos episode. I mean, is that your guys'? I know that's 1000% my favorite episode. What about you, BBM?
Yeah, for the entire series, I would still have to say it's episode 4. Even for this like season alone, just it being in the season, I'm like, okay, that has to be like my favorite. But other episodes are my favorite, like episode 2, possibly 7, 8, 9, and then the finale. I know you didn't like the 8. like
I liked episode 1 through 10. Those were pretty good.
Not some of them. Some of them I'm like, okay, let's get to the damn plot here. But like, yeah, I think So far, I still think that season 2 is a bit better, in my opinion, than season 1, because season 1 is only 2 episodes of my favorite. I was like 7, and then the finale. Everything else was more of world building, in a sense, and just finishing up the host awakening, as opposed to here with the door, the whole theme of like the door situation. I was more invested with this one.
Interesting.
One thing I didn't like this season was the whole characters of Felix and Sylvester. Like, really, you could just cut them out and everything would be okay. Like, they really didn't do anything important, really.
They were ridiculous, but yet I mean, come on. They gave one of the greatest lines of the entire finale. Are you kidding me? When they were sitting there, you already know what it is. It was one of the best lines in the whole show. Come on now. What door? No, really, what fucking door? Are you kidding me? And you needed that to know that the humans couldn't see that. I mean, you got to have some Felix and Sylvester in there. What? What do you think about that, Andy? I know you're...
I'm kind of with BBM in that I do like this season better, but if they were both standalone, I would like the first season better. I think we like this season better because it had the setup of the first season. You got this whole... This season had a ton of like those what door moments of where you're like, holy shit, like you just realized something right before they're about to tell you it, and you're like, oh my god, like those kind of situations. This season had a few of those, and episode 4, that one was a big one because it had so many in one episode so early in the season, and you didn't think that was going to happen. Just great. But I'm also with BBM and y'all and everybody else. Why bring her back to kill her? Like, I don't get that shit. What's the deal with Elsie? I said that I would be mad about that, and I am. Like, I thought it was stupid.
They pulled a Glenn on us, Andy. They pulled a Glenn.
I don't know anything about any Glenn, but it's not like they brought her back and then dumped her the next episode, which they could have done. I mean, they kind of just left her in areas and just left her for hours and days at a time. But, I mean, yeah, they just brought her back, and, I mean, they wrapped up a lot. You want to talk about a bullshit death? Let's get into some Sizemore. Are you kidding me? Here I fucking am! Get the fuck out of here! What was that shit? Come on, we don't even have to go in order. Let's just talk about it. What did we think about Sizemore's speech, BBM? How great was that?
I love it because since episode 1 of season 1, he's all about somewhere we gotta have the damn speech in its entirety and fully how it was meant to goddamn be. And finally, he got to say it, going down in a blaze of glory. Because I thought it was gonna be him to save May, but she was like, yeah, y'all just freaking too slow. So I saved myself. And then finally, it was going to be like Hector again, just saving the day. I'm like, no, get freaking Sizemore to do it. And he did. I freaking love this. Some people's like, oh, that's freaking cliche. Nah. You needed that. This man needed a man up, and he actually finally goddamn did. Like from the first episode, even from back in season 1, even the beginning of season 2, he was like, oh, the hosts are not real. You're supposed to be following a damn program and stuff. But then it was through his, adventure with Maeve. Yeah, he himself woke up in a sense. And I freaking loved it. What you thought, Andy?
I thought the death was great, but you know what it made me think about? Like, does that mean that Tyrion is gonna die in Game of Thrones and finally finish his joke? Like, maybe Cersei survives, right? And she puts Tyrion to death, and like, do you have any last words? And he's like, so I walk into a brothel, and like, that's just honestly what I thought about. Like, I was like, oh shit, are they like saying they're foreshadowing the death of Tyrion in another show? What is going on here?
That's one like sweet ass. That's gonna be the punchline of that one.
Yeah, so,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about it. Like, I thought it was good, like good callbacks. They did it a couple times with like he didn't get to finish the speech, and yeah, it was pretty good.
That's amazing. Chrissy of Oldstone says Elsie is now attending the dental school in heaven. Oh, hashtag no, save Tyrion. That's classic. That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, let's start back at the beginning. We open up with the familiar scene of Dolores and Bernard, and we find out that this is trial 11,927. And all we thought we knew everything we thought we knew. We found out that we didn't know shit because, yeah, I thought this was him talking or her talking to Arnold, and yeah, all those other things going on. And it was kind of cool realizing like, oh, we thought we had it all sewed up, and right out of the gate they're like, you don't know what you think you know. I mean, they blow you away right away, BBM.
Yeah, because even after seeing this, and then later on when she actually have, with freaking Man in Black, even and her speak about freaking Bernard saying like, oh, I was supposed to create Arnold, but instead I, twisted certain things. So it's like, wait a minute. So this is supposed to be someone entirely new in a sense, because she was supposed to create, Arnold, but then she ended up creating Bernard, and then she's pretty much really the true creator of Bernard, which is now even more wicked.
So in a sense, wasn't she already awake? Because right then she's doing her own free will and not doing what Ford wanted her to do by recreating Arnold exactly, but making Bernard in her own mind and own will because she thought that'd be better. Isn't that her kind of an awakening, making a free choice right there, Andy?
I thought that at the beginning of the episode, it was showing the end of the episode in a way by creating this Arnold that's not exactly Arnold, because after she read the music notes on her book that we'll talk about later, she realized how simple people are and that they actually are making them too complex, right? And that a little change can make a big difference. And she found the little change that made Arnold, kill himself in order for like the love of the host. And she alternated it. She turned it on its head, so made like Bernard feel the same way about humans, because they need a protector too. And I think she realizes that, and that's kind of what I thought, is that this was happening at the end. It wasn't really a beginning. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, I was confused there, because even at the end, it's them at the same like what you see, like Dolores in blue, then even Bernard in his like regular getup, and then it just camera switches, and then he's naked, and then she's like in black. So it's like I feel like, wait a minute. So was this the beginning, or it's just another like version
of the end,
like in a basement?
Well, yeah, if you take the context of what she said at the end, like about that they're on opposite sides, but they need each other. She recognizes they need each other, just like Ford and Arnold needed each other. And when Arnold died, things went out of whack. And I think she recognizes that. That's probably what's going on. So she creates an Arnold figure that's the opposite of her being Ford. And that's what she does. She needs someone to try to save the humans. And that
you're saying the Force had to create Rey because Kylo was there in the universe. Gotcha.
Red Walrus says, why can I not say that? Red Walrus. Good Lord. I wonder if all the MIB quest scenes are his fidelity loop and he is a host that can be shot up a lot. Because we see he comes in there with his fingers all shot up and messed up. So they say that they found a high priority guest in really bad shape. So obviously he didn't die out there, but doesn't it seem like he pretty much died right after that? What do you think about that, BBM?
I think like this whole season did happen. Like the Man in Black was human. He killed his freaking daughter. It was freaking human. But sometime in the later future, probably we're going to learn in season 3, he will die. And then they're going to, put his either subconscious mind into a damn hybrid body. So it may have like the memories of him and just do it that way. Kind of like do like a freaking Bernard or Arnold situation. Or in the future, that might be just an entirely all new different type of freaking hybrid host body that we're now kind of seeing. So from it looks like, as a way how like the computer forge Logan said, it's like every person has that was a primary drive or something that defines them. And I'm guessing with him, it's the whole shooting his daughter. So it's possibly the entire loop is like this game that we're now seeing in season 2, where he kills his daughter and he possibly goes into the forge. And then bam, the situation. That's why I'm seeing it.
What about it, Andy? When did he die? What's going on with that?
He could die here, and that's why like this is his starting point. Like what we saw earlier in the season where Delos is like, so I take it I didn't make it, which is kind of hints towards like he was going into surgery or some shit and he didn't make it. But he's aware that he was going into surgery, and that's the point where his memory stops. So he could die at the end of this, and that's what's going on. But it's also likely that like his whole story changes from this point. They talk about sorry, that
Take your time, man. We got all night.
they're talking about the Man in Black, right? When they sit in there and they're inside the computer and shit, and they're like, and some people are unforgivable or whatever they say about the Man in Black. But that's based on Ford's like algorithm and how he sees people. Like,
I don't know. I mean,
and Ford mentioned, he says he doesn't know how to write a villain. And I think if he doesn't understand the villain, there's going to be certain people that aren't as easily quantified as most people are in these books to describe their actions and shit. And there's other variables involved. And I think that's what, since they've learned how simple people are to understand, if there's like a truly complex person like the Man in Black, they won't be able to get him right. And there might be some importance to that. Like maybe he changes as a person from this point when he was going down there to get Dolores. He changes as a person, and they're trying to get fidelity from this point when he changed to who he is before he dies. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but wasn't it mainly Arnold's program? Ford didn't truly understand it, and it was Ford who came and told him in the last episode that you haven't checked on your program in a while. You don't understand what it's learning. And it was my understanding that that's what they're talking about. Basically, this Logan Cradle situation is learning too much, and it's producing things on its own. So basically, I mean, has nothing to do with Ford. It's Williams' creation that's basically AI teaching itself and getting smarter by the day. And
yeah, but it's all based on Ford and Arnold's tech, like their AI and stuff. That was the whole thing, right? That they said AI is more advanced than humans' decisions, because what makes us human is because they're more complicated. We're actually simple. So I think there's like that cutoff was, so Living My Rhapsody says they said irredeemable. I don't think there's very few people that are truly irredeemable. Like we could talk about the Man in Black and all the terrible things he did, but
I don't know. He killed his daughter and showed absolutely zero.
But could you blame him for that? He was in a game that every second there's a host, and like Ford then putting about so many people in front of him to the point it's like, wait a minute, but are you my daughter, or is this for making sure I'm off the path of the game again?
I'm not a father, but Andy, you have a daughter. Do you take that chance? Do you even take that chance?
Let's say this, DJ. If you're playing a game with your daughter, would you let your daughter win or lose? No.
Every time.
Those are two questions that have different answers. One, I'm too weak. I would be dead if if like there was a host daughter that was my daughter and she was gonna kill me. I would be dead because I'm too weak to that. But do I let her win? No, I do not let her win at shit. She needs to know. She needs to work at it, and like she has to be better. Like the world's not just gonna let you win things. You have to be better at it, and you're not always gonna be the best at everything. So those are two different questions. But from DJ, from your perspective, like, have you seen it? Everybody's seen it yet? No.
No, I haven't seen it. I'll never see it.
Never mind. Well, I don't want to ruin it for everybody. But there's a similar situation at the end of it, and you would have died by it probably.
Well, like Chrissy Goldstone says, the producer said his loop starts when he gets up and after his hand got shot, but you can also consider his daughter's death the start of it, and that's what I would say. I would say it's his daughter's death. Like that happens pretty close right after his daughter's death, just like James Delos said, or when Logan, the Cradle Logan, was talking about James Delos, they said all his starting points started that night that he basically dismissed Logan, and that was the last time he talked to him, because that was like the most gut-wrenching part of his life, or that was the thing that hit him the hardest. So that's why, I mean, that's not when Logan died. I mean, he didn't die until like, what, 6 months later he overdosed. So he still had 6 months of life, but it was that point in time that James Delos always went back to in the fidelity test. So I think that's why, even though the Man in Black, even though Lisa Joy said that he dies way in the future, I don't think it's way in the future. I just think he dies, but I think he goes back to that because that's his fidelity test, because that's when he realizes he killed his daughter. So that's obviously going to be the hardest and most meaningful point in his life. You believe any of that, BBM?
Now, if the loop does begin where he actually gets up and goes into the forge, does that mean that after Bernard even leaves, does he then get up and go downstairs or something? Does he do something? Even then, it wouldn't make sense because after Bernard leaves, doesn't the whole place get flooded? So it's still like that open gap there. If it actually does.
Yeah, that is open and it's open to interpretation. But the way I look at it is obviously we know that he got saved by the Delos security guards. Like the one thing out of 100 they actually did was save this guy and get him out of there. And they said we have a high priority guest that's in really bad shape. So I'm assuming before Bernard came back out of the cradle, the Delos security had already picked up the MIB and taken him back to where they were getting people off the island.
Speaking of security, I
was waiting for some step talk. Get into it.
Oh my God. I was like, oh man, I'm kind of like, this isn't a direct call. Like it's not a direct call, but man, it's pretty good that you were like, hey, he's a shitty security person. Well, yeah, if he was actually working for the host the whole time, he would be a shitty security person. And I have to be like, all right, like, I guess he's a shitty person or a security person. And that is a good call. Not directly calling who he was or what he was doing, but recognizing that he was not very good at his job if it was based on what we thought it was based on.
Stubbs is the worst security guard, host or human, ever to face the I mean, he is the absolute worst.
And you still putting hate on Stubbs, DJ. He was kidnapped.
Human, I don't give a shit. He is terrible. He needs to be fired, got gone. I don't give a shit. What's up, BBM? Is he host or human?
I say he's human. I think that from the beginning, I think it's like Ford. He only likes certain humans, and it's like I think he likes Felix because the way how Felix was just simply just close to Maeve. At least if he doesn't trust humans, or he's like kind of okay with them at least. And then there's like Stubbs. So I think he's like kind of cool with him. I think he legitimately knew that freaking that was not Dolores, but he kind of like whoever was in front of him was freaking host like. Because at first, like Charlie wanted to do like stay on the mainland, not stay on the mainland. She wanted to stay like on the from Westworld thing, look after certain things. But then she was like, no, I gotta go back to the mainland and craft. I'm like, okay. So he kind of like spot something. They said, you know what? I've seen the bigger picture, like who's really, the person on top, what they really care for. They don't care for the guests. They cared about the whole project and stuff. So, you know what? I'm just going to do the job I was meant to do by the man who hired me. So that's why I think it's, still him. He was simply human. I don't think he's a host.
So he's really good at his job. If his job is being a bad security guard.
Yeah, if his job is sucking at life.
That's what I was proud of at the end. I was like, oh, DJ got it. Like his job was to actually like be a shitty security guard. Like that's what his job was. If he was there for the host and not for the people. So when Delos came in and they're like, hey, do this, this, and this. Well, he doesn't care. His whole goal is Ford's goal. So that's his job is to further Ford's goal. Perfect. Like he's perfect at his job.
Christian Volstone says he's been confirmed as a host. Did Lisa Join them say that in that interview or something? Because I still don't know. But I mean, yeah, the way he says Ford, Ford hired him or whatever a long time ago, and how could it be a long time ago when Stubbs is still a pretty young guy? It definitely points to some hostage type territory.
Well, he said he don't know how long was it though, so it can be anything at this point.
Yeah, a long time to him could only be like 5 years because he is so young. So maybe that is a long time to him. Who knows? That's true. That's very true.
He got fired from his previous job, so it's like since I'm here the longest, it's been like, damn, I've been here for so long. Never know.
But man, isn't that like a clever way to hide who's hosts and who's not, like by putting them on rotations and shit? Ah, brilliant. Like, so no one knows. But how about this? How does the Man in Black not know who Bernard is? I can't get over that. I cannot get over, like,
we've talked about that before.
Worst part of the episode is Man in Black not knowing who Bernard is. Get the fuck out of here. He doesn't know. He spends his whole life in this park, and he loves it more than anything, and he would want to know, like, he's building this whole other project of, like, saving people, and he doesn't know the main person. Get the hell out of here. I do not believe that. Unless he's programmed not to see him or not to recognize him.
It's pretty unbelievable for sure, but yeah, that one was a head scratcher. It's like you were at the same party when hosts started going nuts. You bumped into each other somewhere, but remember, because when I was asking you guys I asked you, I think that was like episode 2 or something when we were doing a recap. I asked you guys, I was like, have those guys ever seen each other? And because when I did the watch, I saw it, and they purposely like were getting ready to walk right by each other and did, but somebody got them MIB's attention, so he turned, and then Bernard walked right by him. So it's like. It was the perfect. Did he see him or did he not? Yeah, it was ridiculous. So.
Yeah, and I was one on this big thing about how could he not have seen him, or how could he not know who he is?
That's another one of those pretty big gaps, but I don't understand that either. How could he know that much about what's going on with that park and everything else, but never ran into Bernard, the head run? Come on, that guy does all the main stuff right below Ford, and you're not gonna know who he is. But, I mean, then again, on the flip side of it, I mean, when he's in the park, he's a guest. And, I mean, even Ford only made, very rare occasional appearances. I'm sure Bernard never showed himself to guests because that would kill the whole story. You're supposed to be in the Wild West. So, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could stretch and see it, but that's kind of rough. That is kind of rough. When they panned to Bernard, when he was rolling through the dune buggy in the beginning of this, and he stops for some reason and then like walks another 100 to 1,000 feet. It's like, why didn't he just drive that extra distance? I mean, it made for a great aerial pan shot for cinematography, but what the hell did he get out of his buggy for and then walk like another 1,000 feet? That just drove me nuts right out of the gate. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Oh man, we're so alike in that. I was like, what? What is he doing walking there? You're in the dune buggy. Go to the front door. You don't have to walk any further than that, I promise. Step out. But hey, they're hosts. They don't have to worry about getting tired and stuff. They can walk as much as they want. They're like, I can't abuse this robot car because I don't want people abusing me. So
it's like, did he run out of gas? Or, I mean, what the hell do you even walk that extra 1,000 feet for? They just need that scene, that, beautiful panoramic shot BBM, or I just didn't understand that. For some reason, that took me right out of the show instantly for a second. I was like, what the fuck?
Now, what's the question of the scene we're talking about? Because I was like,
right out of the gate when Bernard's rolling through with that dune buggy. I mean, right in this, it was like the second scene of the entire episode, and he's rolling through Westworld and they're showing everything, and then they do this big panoramic view and come around, and it shows like he parks the dune buggy and then walks forward on flat land for like another 1,000 feet. It's like, why did you?
Because the episode's an hour and 30 minutes, and we need to stretch out the extra 30. So that's what they did.
They just needed the shot, right? I mean, it was a beautiful shot. Mm-hmm. Panoramic scene, showed all the I was like, what is this? That made no sense to me. But yeah, that was kind of crazy. But then we cut out to Dolores spooning with the dead Ted, and she's looking a little distraught. But she then pulls from somewhere. Somehow she grabs Teddy's control unit that seems to have stopped a speeding bullet. Was Teddy's control unit made out of vibranium, or what is that? Are all control units bulletproof? What was going on with that, BBM?
I think the control unit itself could be damaged, but I think it's just the sphere inside that has to remain intact or so. Maybe that's what it is, and maybe just like a protective covering. That's what I'm guessing now. So at this point, throughout the whole episode, we see him get shot, the control unit gets taken out, and she was able to upload his mind, not his mind, but his brain, whatever, into, Eden World. And then she's later to freaking, get her own, Bernard was able to take hers out, even though he shot her dead in the head. So I'm guessing as long as the spear or the pearl, whatever people are calling it, is still intact and not damaged itself,
it's a control unit.
Good to go.
I mean, to me, it just tells me the control units are made out of vibranium or some shit. Like, what do you get out of that, Andy?
Yeah, I think like the brain part is bulletproof, which would be smart. You don't want that to get damaged. People are going to get shot in the head a bunch. But the case that needs to be suspended in fluid. Like once it starts losing too much fluid, it can cause problems. So the fluid's necessary to functioning inside the body, but it's not necessarily necessary for the brain to survive. So that's what I got from it.
Well, Dolores takes off on her horse and comes across the MIB, cutting into his arm, and Dolores says, "It looks like you're questioning the nature of your reality." She says she saw Emily's body a mile back up the path, and then they decide for the time being that their needs are in alignment, so he decides to help her. And were you buying this? Like, just all of a sudden they're just all chummy and buddy-buddy again, BBM, or was that a little weird to you, or what?
Hell no. You see instant. The moment she even took that chipper thing off the freaking controller, I'm like, okay, why is she taking that? Maybe, I think it was like, what, piece of the bullet, whatever, or something. I guess she just kept that as momentum, like, damn, this is the bullet that freaking killed my ex. But then we see her just placing it into the gun. I'm like, okay, so now you're just pretty much playing possum with freaking the Man in Black. You just want him to freaking journey with you. So hopefully you're wishing that he shoots you. So it's pretty much all on probability here. But even then, it's like, how do you not know the first shot's going to be to your head? Like, oh my. And then the Man in Black, it's him just, journeying with Dolores with that false hope of, like, quote unquote, I'm going to help you type business. But in the end, he was going to shoot her down. Like, he knows it's pretty much a weapon that hosts can use. Why on earth would you, like, freaking journey with her into the damn forge?
What do you think? What do you get out of that, Andy? You buying the team up aspect, or?
Yeah, I don't mind the team up because it says once again our like shit is aligned, or whatever. I'm telling you. Like, well, yeah. Sometimes I think that's a more mature way to go about it. Sometimes you have to ally with people that you wouldn't necessarily get along with to do what you need to do, and it's like World War II, the allies with Russia to take out Germany, like communist Russia or the USSR. Like, those aren't people. That's not really compatible. But in order to fight this one enemy, you team up, and that's what happened. It's not out of the realm of possibility for this to happen. So I'm okay with it. I give it a thumbs up for working together. Plus, I think to what BBM was saying, like, I thought the same thing. Like, how does she know it was going to be exactly that many shots? One. Two, how does somebody that's been in this park forever not check his gun and reload it? Like, I would immediately be suspicious of her. And then, I think the only plausible thing is he doesn't shoot her in the head, because I'm still under the impression that she knows that he loves her somewhat, even though he hates her. It's that, like, thin line between love and hate.
That, or we have to look at Man in Black scenes and see if he actually shoots Host in the head. Because normally he doesn't do that. He normally just, shoots him in the chest a few times and then they kind of go down. So maybe she just like, I know his pattern, so he's not going to shoot me in the head first.
Yeah, I mean, that could
see though, coming in with him and Dolores, like he just was digging in his arm, like has a bad, like was basically gutting his own arm out, but comes rolling in on a horse and plugging freaking Delos cats that are taking cover behind cars with machine guns, and him and Dolores are coming in with like 6-shooter pea shooters and just plugging fools. Like, how great an aim does this fool have?
Well, no, it's the stormtrooper thing again. Like, that's all I can get. Like, people with these machine guns are terrible. That's a giant target. They're on horses.
Oh, it was ridiculous. That whole thing was ridiculous. But how quick did you guys realize, like the flashback to Bernard, and did you guys get the sense that right away that Dolores, the Man in Black, and Bernard were all heading to the same place, the Forge?
Yeah. I thought we thought that a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, you had to. They didn't really show. I mean, basically, is that what Bernard, when he got out and was walking that 1,000 paces, is that what he was staring at? Was just trying to find his way back to the Forge? I mean, is that what he was doing out there?
Could be. I mean, you'd think that he would know exactly where it is, but
I mean, how? I mean, if he didn't, but well, I guess he did know where it was because Logan inside the Forge said he'd been there many times.
Yeah.
So he did know where it was, but he fried his own brain, so he couldn't find his way back because he unaddressed his memories.
I look at it as Ford sent him there without him knowing. That, or not just that, Bernard Host. It could have been other versions that, end up being disposed of that possibly went to the Forge.
Could be. You think that's what was happening? You think Ford was taking over his body without him even realizing what was going on and doing a bunch of shit?
Because he did it before, just like when we found out was episode 4, where he sent Bernard to just get that one control unit and then bring it to him, which was kind of like his. So it wouldn't surprise me if he actually did send him there unknowingly.
That could happen. That could happen, definitely. I mean, yeah, and like Elsie said, we'll never know what's really you or what's what Ford programmed in you. Mm-hmm. But before that, next we get a host that, I'm sorry, not a host. I mean, Charlotte Halesine saying step on it, and either we destroy them or they destroy us. And if she was in such a hurry, why didn't they just have Clementine in the car with them? What the hell did they have her on a horse if they're like in such a big hurry to get her up there for, B-Man?
Like I said, an hour and 30 minutes. Plus, they wanted to connect to the why we need 4 horsemen when we pretty much just got one line. So it's like, okay, we need her on our damn horse, so do it.
I mean, I was just like, what the hell? What was going on with that, Andy? She's like, step on it. We need to hurry. It's like, why didn't they just freaking put her in the damn car and step on it if they're in that big hurry?
I don't know. These are like. It's funny how I choose what to think is implausible and what is not, like what I need to be realistic. I don't know. Maybe there's some fidelity problems if you just got her riding around on a freaking buggy or whatever it's called, a dune buggy. So you got to put her on the horse, and that's how she does it. Plus, how do you make the Horseman of the Apocalypse joke without that, right?
There you go. We had to have our 4 horsemen, 1 horseman Clementine going on, I guess. So let's get back to the Mesa, and we see what a true masochist piece of shit that tech in charge of Maeve was. And he turned down her pain threshold just to hear her scream. And I mean, how bad did you just want to jump through the screen and kick this fool in the face, BBM?
Oh, and it is sucking to die. What was it, episode, was it 7 that they showed us this? Him being like cutting up freaking Maeve and whatnot. That was just wrong. You just had to like go into maybe her control unit, maybe, but just opening her up and stuff. That was just really just a Kyber move right there. Just wrong.
I mean, the fact that he went out of his way to turn up or down, whichever way, the pain threshold, because he's like, oh, there's no pain without screaming. Like, he wants to hear her scream in pain, even though she's a host. Like, that's how he gets off. I mean, what were you feeling about that, Andy?
Yeah, I was like, oh my, what a dick. I'm like, I can't wait for her to get up and kill you. Like, I'm so amped by that. Like, oh man. I really was kind of mad at it. I'm like, what a dick. Like, I'm all for, I'm usually the one making the arguments like, well, the people don't know that, they're hosts. So it's not necessarily a bad thing for people to go ham in Westworld, because they don't know that these are living things. But this guy, like, he realizes that there is a pain, artificial pain sensor type situation going on. He cranks it up to 10. Like, yeah, you're going to be super susceptible to pain while I do this. What an asshole. Hate that guy. What's up, DJ?
I was going to say, what's up? We got the one and only JD, the motherfucking dragon. My brother just hit the chat. Welcome, man. Good to see you out there. Glad you made it. And we are going back. What did you think about Simon trying, then Hector saying, stay here and die, I'll do the saving, just to find out that Maeve went me too and didn't need any knight in shining armor. She said, you were both late, so I saved myself. What do you think about that, BBM?
Well, I think Kathleen Kennedy, I think that's her name. She probably wouldn't have made that scene look good. If she did that scene, it would have been like, wow. See, another way is that Mary Sue situation. But all in seriousness, like it was still a good scene though. I wish that the Super Bowl trailer didn't show that, so I could have been like more surprised. But when I was seeing the whole Maeve saving herself, I was like, okay, it's cool. It was pretty cool for what it was. So, what do you thought of it, Andy?
Oh well, I liked it. I thought that was funny, but it also I think it was important to Sizemore's character before he died, like leading up to that moment. he needed a moment of inaction. He knew what he needed to do and could not do it because he was scared. And he needed that moment of inaction and she ended up saving herself, but there was a good chance that she wouldn't have been able to do that because she goes and tells Hector at the same time, you both were late. Like neither one of them would have made, or Hector wouldn't have made it. So Sizemore realizes it, like if Maeve wouldn't have been able to do that, she would have died. And like that would have been my fault. So he needed that moment for his scene later. So I liked it.
That was good. That was good. That's so funny. That's awesome. I'm just sitting there going through like, yep, hit that. Yep, we got another one of our questions answered. MIB and Bernard have somehow never met. Yep. But then the MIB then turns on Dolores and gets a little surprise of his own, a teddy bullet. Dolores says she knows the MIB wants to die here, but just like Akacheta says she is not going to let him die just yet. How come Dolores doesn't want him to die yet, Andy?
I don't know. Like, I forgot to mention that about the end thing. Like, what if this is Dolores, like, at the very end, trying to bring him back? Maybe she actually needs the Man in Black for something. I always wonder that. Like, if there's certain people that are irredeemable, maybe she needs somebody like that. She needs another monster. And I don't know. That's maybe she was just like his daughter and just wants him to feel pain, and that's like both his daughter and him, like and Dolores, they're kind of similar in that situation. They got screwed over by William a lot, and he ruined their life. And there was like Dolores would get reset, so she wouldn't really remember, and the Man in Black's daughter was fooled by him for many years, and then they both all of a sudden had all this like information about this one person, this terrible person, flood in at one time. So they would they might want him to suffer in the same way. So they're similar. They're taking similar paths in that way.
Now, on your point there, I kind of thought that it was going to be Bernard going to be the one to actually bring the Man in Black back, not the daughter in a sense, or where we see the Emily thing in the end, because I think that possibly in season 3 we're going to learn that, for we know, Dolores actually does win this war, and like the only person that can like truly stop her possibly is the Man in Black, and that's why they brought him back. That's why we're seeing him in the damn loops.
I like that.
Yeah, that could be too.
I like that. BBM bringing one home. Let's see what's going on. Season 3. Let us know. So next we got Stubbs is still worried about the guest, while Strand and Hale could care less. This was pretty. This was a pretty weak line. You want to file a grievance, Stubbs? You know something? I just fucking might. I like fell the fuck out. I was like, are you kidding me? Is this big acting chops? I don't know. That one fucked me up too. That took me out of it a little bit. But then Hale steps in and says, Stubbs, go check it out on foot, you little. I was like, what? I'd be like, bitch, I'm taking the boats. You walk. But she said, we do hear that the Delos security is using drones, and then to track down lost and human hosts, which is something I brought up last week. It's like, if they're still worried about tracking people down, like, this is the future. Why aren't they using drones or whatever? So I really like all the little answers they kind of gave us in here, little stuff like that. But I thought it was classic. And I mean, Andy, you're the one that's always sticking up for Stubbs. What do you think about that scene with her and Hale and Strand going on?
I don't know. Like, Stubbs is good for what he is, I guess. Like, he's this host guy that's looking out for the host. He kind of cared about the people. It was like, he was learning how terrible the company is. I think that's like what was going on this whole season. It was like he needed these little things to be like, well, shit, maybe humanity does need to die. Like, I think he was kind of on the fence. He had been looking out for people the whole time, or wanted their best interest and not Delos's. And then, I don't know. I wouldn't have got bitched out. I would have probably shot Dolores a long time ago. I would have been like, fuck it. I can blame it on a host. No one can prove shit. Screw you. you're gonna die, and then ruin Dolores' whole plan. Then people would be mad because I ruined like the 3 extra seasons we were supposed to get by killing off Dolores in the 2nd season. But hey, I would have had to do it.
It would have already been game over. Would you put up with all that bullshit from Charlotte Hale? I mean, what do you think about all that? And Stubbs says that, like, he's supposed to be in charge of the host, yet he's the only one that seems to give a shit about the guest, BBM. What's up with that?
Exactly. That's just him doing what Ford designed him to do. Protect the guests, protect the damn host in the damn park.
And not know anything else that's going on in the park, even though he's the #1 security guy and doesn't know jack shit.
Hey, if Bernard can't see doors right in front of his face, like Stubbs can be programmed to not know what's going on in the park. To be fair.
Oh shit! What's up, my man JD? Actually, believe it or not, I've been here. I got here last night and been here all day and have not gambled yet at all. Got my first tournament going on tomorrow, and then my first big tournament going on Saturday. So I will definitely keep you posted. And back to Westworld. Stubbs is still worried about the guest while Strand could care less. Got that. We also see that the projector looking through was actually a satellite. What do you guys think about that? I thought I was waiting for all sorts of weird shit. Like that was going to be like a sun projector or like that's how the clouds got shown and all this shit. I was like, wait a minute, what? That's just a satellite shooting out information? Like I thought that was going to be like a projector and that's what they were like keeping shit going down in Westworld. Like, what do you think about that, BBM? Like, did that blow you away?
It kind of was a projector at the end, though. Like, way it turned out, we were just, projecting, that Eden world. But I fed into, Andy's, theory about it was a dome. They're all in a dome and all that. So I was like, damn it.
That was the ultimate troll by them bastards because they got me too. I was like, it has to be a dome. They got the projector showing the sun and the clouds. They got the freaking crack in the dome. It's a dome. No, it ain't no dome. They just psyched the shit out of it.
To be fair, I was only on board with it being a dome once someone showed me the preview for next week. I did not think it was a dome until someone showed me a crack in the sky. I was like, well, doesn't it have to be, right? So to be fair, that was like the point where I was like, oh, maybe they are in a dome. But I did argue earlier in the season that it doesn't it doesn't mean they're in a dome because I said it was in the Man in Black when he was in Lawrence's hometown and it was raining real bad. And I was like, oh, well, they're in like a Mediterranean climate. It would rain a lot if the weather system went down. So I made that argument, and you could look back at that if you wanted to. So it wasn't until the end of last week that I said it could be a dome. So don't put that.
He said, "Don't put that. That wasn't one of my calls. Don't put that in one of my lost columns, damn it." Because you already know, ladies and gentlemen, you know I'm going to be hooking it up. I'm going to be going back through all our streams, and it's going to be like a little game. Like called it, didn't call it, kind of called it. It's going to be right there, and we will see out of the three of us who got what, who got some calls, who didn't. You already know BBM's going to be right down the middle, right down everything. Like I was 50-50 the whole way. It'll be awesome.
No, he says because what it's going to be is you're going to mark one every time you see it. You're going to be like, oh, yep, he called it. And BBM's going to go back and forth so many times. He's going to have so many tallies in each section. It's just going to be like
it'll be
100 in each side.
It'll keep it 50-50 right down the middle, just like he's been all season long. It'll be perfect. A good representation. Oh, shit. Down in the forge and with Dolores and Bernard, and we see Bernard is remembering multiple timelines. As we see Strand and company also make their way down into the forge, we finally hear total data on every single person who has ever visited the park. 4 million souls. At 40,000 a day, doesn't this number seem like it seemed a little bit high to me? I don't know about y'all, but the dollar at some point hit like the same value as the peso. Like for 4 million people to be able to come into the park at $40,000 a day, it seems more like it was $400 a day. Like the dollar is devalued, or are there just that many billionaires in today's timeline, BBM? What's going on with that? Like, did that even affect you? I heard that number. I was like, what?
Yeah, like one, we don't know, again, how rich these people are that's going to Westworld. And two, it's not just Westworld. There are other parks. So it's like, okay, maybe some come here, maybe even more go to a different park. Like they said, like, well, there's 6 parks, and so far we've only seen 3. So how do we not know like the population of the other parks? So it's like, I believe it.
Wait, what was the numbers again? How many per day? How many dollars per day do they make?
It didn't say dollars per day. It just told me that all I know is I've heard that it's $40,000 a day to visit the park, and I just heard 4 million souls have visited the park. So that's easy math. When
30
you
years.
Holy shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right.
well, if you round it up to, 40 years, and that, I mean, it's still like a lot. I don't know.
4 million souls. I don't care if it's 400 years. That's a fuck ton of money.
Maybe some couple a day or two.
Right?
It's 40,000 a day, right? You said?
Yeah, that's 40,000 a day, not a trip.
Days. Like,
I'm telling
I
you,
think someone got a
most of these guys
discount.
are
Maybe
rich.
they probably got a discount though. I don't know. Maybe Groupon maybe have something in the future. Maybe it's like,
they had to put a cap on it to only let you stay in the park for 2 weeks at a time. So that means hella people are staying there for the full 2 weeks. That is a gang of money. These guys are getting paid. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, it's like 100,000 people a year going there. You don't think that's realistic?
Terry T says, how many people go to Disneyland? A lot, but they sure as hell ain't paying no $40,000 a day. Shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said it's like the dollar had to get like degraded to the peso, because I was like, shit, these rides plated in platinum or what? I was like, holy Nikes. That is crazy. But yeah, those numbers just hit me. I don't know. It was being a poker player or something, but I added 2 and 2 together and went, damn.
Look, they're getting 100,000 people. That's a lot. Like, they're getting 100,000 people.
Right?
That is kind of a lot.
That's a fuck ton is what that is. It's crazy. 4 million? Good God. But anyway, Hale asks, is this where all the host stories came to an end? And Strand says it's certainly where her story came to an end, and we saw a dead Dolores. Now, I don't know why, but this scene didn't really affect me like I thought I should. I was more like, okay, Dolores is dead. Like, that's like the main character of the whole season. Like, I don't know why I didn't catch the feels on that, but how'd you feel about that, BBM, when you looked down and saw a dead Dolores?
I was like, okay, who shot her? That's my question. Who shot her? Like, okay, I was wondering too, like, what something is gonna happen where she doesn't like, complete her goal. So I'm like, okay, we see that she gets shot. Question is, who did it? It was the butler. It was a host butler.
What do you think about that, Andy? Like, did it touch you in any kind of sensitive way, Andy, or what do you feel about that?
Okay. Hold on.
He said, wait for
I didn't know my mic was on. Sorry. No, I don't care about Dolores. I didn't think I thought maybe like something she was inside the computer still, because remember at this point we didn't know that she was against the computer place and shit. So I thought, well, maybe she's just inside the computer, because there's no way she's just dead right here. We're not that lucky.
I'm looking at the chat and like, I see Living My Rhapsody. I had no feels on Dolores. Oh, Christy Wollstones, I also had no feels. JD, Dolores sucks. I was like, damn, I guess I was not alone.
DJ, I used my calculator and I did a bit of math. And it would take, to average out that, I rounded up to 40 years that the park's been open. 4 million souls, that's 100,000 per year. That between 6 parks, that takes 46 new people coming in every day for each park.
With the multiple parks, but we saw like stuff like Shogun World doesn't look like it got used quite as much as Westworld did. But
yeah, that's average across the
numbers though.
Across the whole parks, all the parks, you would need 273 new guests, or 274 new guests per day.
So when you're talking about the new parks, and we know that Shogun World is for the ones that think just Westworld is just too lame and lax for them, what's going to be happening with these other worlds? I mean, are they going to be somewhere in between, or are they going to be even gnarlier than what Shogun World is, BBM?
I think it's kind of like if only you watch Dragon Ball Super, but it's like I'm guessing.
Don't know no anime. I'm sorry.
I'm guessing for Westworld, if it wasn't like tamed, you go to Shogun World. I'm guessing it's gonna be same with the other two, like 4 worlds. Since it's like what 3 or something like that. I don't know. Like if Roswell wasn't tame enough for you, maybe there's another world for that. That's even like crazier than that. Unless that Roswell was supposed to be that step up. I think it's almost like that for like every other world. It's like there's this, but if that one wasn't good enough, we have another one or something in that magnitude.
Do you think they're like 50-50 at all, Andy? Like in Westworld, we know like Westworld and Sweetwater was just gnarly. That's where the shit went down, and it got even gnarlier the farther out you went. But there was also like the little prairie spot where like we saw that man and his family, and the little kid went out and said like, "Oh, you're one of them," and saw Dolores. So we know they have like the family park too in Westworld. Are all worlds like that? Like they all have the 50-50?
I think not everyone has to do with violence too. Like we saw Roswell was about hunting. Wasn't necessarily about like killing people. So there's probably like some harem worlds and shit where you get to be a man with like a bunch of ladies. Like we can't assume that everybody's just going there to kill stuff. I mean, like there has to be a world where there's much more people going. Like if there's a harem world, it probably gets more guests than Westworld. Like
anything Roswell, you probably had to like go to like the zoo or something. Because even with what was it, Emily? Like she went to like go like with the elephants. So I'm guessing the kids would just go like pet the elephants and stuff. While the grown ups are just shooting the freaking like elephants or something of that magnitude. I don't know.
How many feels do you get about when you found out Emily was really dead? Were you like, holy shit? Like I had more, that's one thing. I had more feels than the Man in Black did. I was like, holy shit, you killed your own kid? He's like, fuck it. He didn't give 2 shits about it. And that was one of the times and thing. I was like, man, how do you not care? You just killed your own daughter, son. What? Like,
so
what that do you?
Yeah. And that's why he put the gun at his head. But then he was like, wait a minute. Let me just check just in case if I'm not a damn host. But then, then freaking Dolores came out of nowhere, and then he even went back down there. Even when he saw like, Emily host whatever, he's like, wait a minute, so you were. So he was like 100% sure, in fact, if he actually did kill his damn daughter. However, I was kind of in a messed up way happy because there were so many people debating me, saying like, oh, BBM, you're stuck on Ford's game. It's obviously not the freaking real daughter of freaking Emily. And now I just want to go back and say to those people, well, did you watch the finale? Because it seems like Emily was human, and he actually did kill her. It's like, damn.
Seems. It seems. And we're going to start next season where they, like, have her in a bag, and we're going to be talking about it like, hey, they said put the ones that you think you can restore in bags. And we're going to be like, oh, shit. And that's going to start a whole new debate, and you're going to be like, no, that's not one of those bags. It's a different bags. See, it wasn't Sylvester and Felix holding her, so it's not one of those bags. And we're going to have this whole argument again. And I enjoy that.
And it is going to be weird because he came in, the Man in Black came in, and he's like, ah, shit, I knew it. Like, I knew you were a damn host. But right out of the gate, like, this is future. So, that actually is a host, but that still doesn't call back to the fact of whether the original was. But she looked like she was piled up right there with the rest of the human bodies. Like,
and that isn't that the thing too? Like, you wouldn't have, if you were checking for fidelity, you wouldn't have someone that looks like his daughter interrogating him unless she survived. If you wanted him to go from that state where his fingers are blown off, right? You wouldn't expect him to answer questions from someone that looks like his daughter. He thinks he killed his daughter. If that's the case, why would that be who you would introduce him to? That's not a fidelity thing.
Papadelos was doing his fidelity test who was talking to him.
William, yeah, someone he knew, but he knows he killed his daughter if she's not real. So,
even so, he was still kind of in the fence though, because he was worried about to kill himself for killing his daughter. But even then, he was still like going through his arm. We even still got like an answer from that. Like, did he realize that he was human or he was a host? We don't know.
That's the thing. But what I'm saying though is we can't assume that his daughter was real, because why would they introduce him to his daughter upon waking up? That doesn't make a sense. He thought he killed his daughter.
Wait for season 3, because they already confirmed in the interviews that he did kill his daughter.
I don't care what they confirmed in there.
Like, they're trolling. They're trolling.
Like, why don't we just go watch Macy Williams's and all the other Game of Thrones people in their interviews and start taking that for gospel?
Well, Stannis said that he
died.
Stannis died. Do you think Stannis is dead?
Jon Snow is dead. He said so himself in every interview. I saw it myself.
That's bullshit. This is different. You're not just gonna kill Jon Snow. They can kill Stannis off screen, but no, they can't do that to Jon Snow.
Could be. Chrissy Wollstone's MIB version of hell is to become a host, so it's fitting that she would be the one interviewing him. That's her answer to that. Could be. One never knows. Also, a quick side, we hear that Bernard is 20 years old, so he hasn't been around that long, and Dolores is the one that built him, and he hasn't been in the park for 35 years. He's not one of the first hosts. He's only been around for 20 years. So was Bernard ever woke? Is he a woke host, BBM?
Yeah, we learned that near the end of the episode that he was a freaking awakened, because if not, he said like he heard voices. I'm not sure if he heard voices or he was just talking to himself. And it's like, okay, you're talking to your subconscious mind, which created the Ford. So it's like, yeah, dude's awakened. But even then, it actually makes sense if he's like was created 20 years. And then by the time Logan and freaking William went to Westworld for their bachelor party, freaking Arnold was already dead. So pretty much not even he knew what the hell did freaking Arnold look like. So it would make sense that he would not know who the hell Bernard was, or thought that he was like freaking Arnold.
You feel that, Andy?
I think that they said that like Dolores recognizes that they're like two sides of the same coin. So I think he's awoke. But he's woke in a different way. Like he didn't have to go through as many experiences as everybody else because he had a grander perspective. Like he worked with regular people. He had to remember stuff, right? You couldn't just
but he also had Ford wiping out all the bad shit the entire time.
Yeah, and eventually he recalled that. He got it back from Ford. Remember, Ford gave it back to him. But he had a better view, and that's what gives us the illusion of free will, is the fact that we can see how our mind works. We can recognize the thought processes which make us make a decision in most cases. So that gives us the illusion of free will because we think we're consciously making that decision. So since he gets to see how all this works, I think he gets to the point that Dolores is faster because of that.
What's up? We got Cammy and the one true David Adams that just hit the chat. Welcome. Glad to see you both on here. Some of my favorites on YouTube. Glad to see you in here. Welcome. What's going on? What's up? Go ahead.
We should throw up a poll for dried or fresh ghost peppers. Everybody down in the comments. Dried or fresh ghost peppers for BBM to eat on air.
Oh, so classic. Well, we see Dolores and Bernard enter the Forge and get a crash course on what the program has been up to, and we see what Ford was talking about on how the Men in Black's project is learning on its own. We also see what James Delos was talking about on being all the way down and seeing what he sees. He got that from his last discussion with Logan. So what do you guys think about all that? Were you feeling the Dolores? Were you feeling it when Dolores and Bernard both jumped into the Forge, BBM?
Yeah, it kind of makes sense though, because I thought that was just, the show trying to do some type of metaphor, Paul, whatever, with that freaking bottom, and I could see up. I kind of almost see it kind of like that same mirror. I think they did that in Luke Cage season 2 though. But back to freaking Westworld, it was kind of interesting there because he kind of like ties in about, what was his drive, and just having him repeat that before, him breaking down at the end of episode 4, kind of connect there. That, and we learned that within the damn Forge, it's a freaking weapon. How is it a weapon? Because she can pretty much read pretty much everyone's kind of like decisions and stuff and actually determine it. So once she gets out in the real world, she has an idea of what people would do to host.
Absolutely. You agree with that, Andy?
Yes, I do. I agree. But wasn't the most interesting part of that, like all the all the books, when you saw her open it from her perspective, that it was those music papers, right? Did you notice that?
I just noticed her like open a book and then she like just threw it on the ground like, he's dead. That's nothing to me. And moved on to the next one. I was like, damn, she is a gangster. Like Dolores ain't bullshitting. She's ready to take everybody out. Like she came for real.
Like I just thought it was weird. It was like those papers that with the holes in it that piano would use. That's what was like written in the, or like that's how it was written. There's got to be some like giant significance to that. Like,
well, that just like Ford said, you know, just like those guys lived on through their music, through their art. I mean, he's kind of trying to do the same thing. So, I mean, it's kind of a little tie back to that reference, I think.
Could be, or it could be that like, man.
Oh, go deep. Here we go down the rabbit hole. Let's get it.
I was gonna talk about tinfoil shit. Like every time you hear a new song and a new character at the same time. Like that they could be a human. It's like tracking them, which I didn't want to say that. I stopped myself because that would mean that Emily would be like a real human and it's tracking her further to make her more of a person. So I would throw myself off with that and I don't want to do it. But how important music is to the show, I think that's significant.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Ford didn't make a whole different – Ford didn't make an entire synopsis scene around the whole thing about music and people living on through their art without that not coming back full circle. And, like, it's not just that. Like, it's going to come back next season even harder. Like, they're not through with that. What's up, David Adams? Got a drink? I want to toast to you. Captain's over here as usual. You know how we do. It's Vegas. We got to have a couple of drinks. Let's get it in. And we are coming back. We find out the reason the Forge wasn't working on humans was not because it was too simple, but because it was too complex. They had to dumb it down for humans because we are essentially just a brief algorithm made up of 10,247 lines. Did you just feel a little bit dumber when you heard that, BBM? Like, damn, I'm only made up of 10,000 lines, really? Like,
I feel less because when you look at my videos, I just say, "Damn, what the fuck? What's going on?" and stuff. So it's like it made me a little bit smarter than I actually think. But who knows? It's like how vast is one's vocabulary? Because eventually, even when we gain new words, we kind of like even substitute it. So I don't know. It's kind of right in a sense. I don't know. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I've been saying this since season 1 with our arguments. We just think we're more complex than we actually are. How many times did I have an argument with DJ over like whether they actually feel pain and our pain is the same as their pain because it's just a program in our head. And that's what this is all saying. It's like we like to think of ourselves as more complex than them and more real. And they're like, no, that's not the case. So I saw this coming because I feel the same way. So,
well, the Forge Logan says that most people are made up of love and pride, but some are irredeemable. And then they pan to the MIB and like, did you like that little reveal BBM? Like, oh shit, the MIB truly is just an evil, sick bastard.
But evil was truly like evil per se, though. He was just, faking being, quote unquote good, but he was kind of like the way how he always was in the parks, but he didn't like go outside and still kill anyone.
No, like, he was, and he faked the funk perfect outside of the park. But when he had people come in saying, "I just want to thank you. Your foundation saved my sister, and I just want to thank you." Get the fuck out of my face before I slit your throat. I'm on vacation. That's not a nice man talking. That's like, whoa. All right, sorry I bugged you, man, but shit, are you kidding me? Really? It's like I just tried to say thank you. Fuck me, I guess, but okay. I thought that was a little, yeah. He's not, and the fact that he can kill his daughter and like whether he thinks he's tripping or not, he's like he just plugged his daughter like, well, it might or might not be, but let me kill her just in case. This is an evil SOB. That's all I'm saying. What do you say about that, Andy?
I say that there's no one that's really irredeemable. the thing is like you have to understand why people do things, even though like we have the whole Thanos argument and shit. Like,
oh, before we go off on an Avengers theme, I'm talking he killed his daughter 50-50. Maybe she's a host, maybe not. Let me kill her just in case. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, but maybe we don't know if he's a host either. Like, so. And what if he like wasn't totally irredeemable, and then Dolores just made him that way? In the same way she changed Bernard a little bit from Arnold, she changed the Man in Black just a little bit, enough to make him make some shitty decisions. But yeah, I'm with you. Just killing your daughter like on a suspicion, yeah, that's pretty shitty. But you have to also think that in the world, in the setting he's in, where he has Ford fucking with his mind the whole time.
I don't give a shit. I got to be 1,000% with that decision. Come on. Other ones maybe, but that decision, I got to be 1,000%.
Well, even you guys were saying it like previous week, where you were saying like maybe she's probably human because all the conversations like were inconsistent. One thing she would say is like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean?" You know, even down to like drinking. It was like, "Wait a minute." He says previous episode, "Oh, you're drinking now?" Yet in the party, he was like, "Oh, back, let's go out for a nightcap and such." It's like there were inconsistencies to drive us off the point. Like, wait a minute, she cannot be a freaking human. She's probably a host. To the point that when he actually shot her, people were behind him. Like, yeah, there was probably just a freaking host. You know, it wasn't.
Hey, like I said, you might have went from 50-50 to 70-30. That's still not enough for me to shoot my fucking daughter. I'm sorry. I don't even have a daughter. But 70%, I'm not shooting her. I got to be 100 on that, or we're just going to have to figure something else out, because that's crazy.
I don't know. My point was like that no one's irredeemable. And to say that, like, I think that's showing his biases. Like, maybe that is Logan in there. Like, there's aspects of Logan actually in there. And it's not just like a computer program like based on Logan. He would think of William as irredeemable. But I don't know. I think there's multiple ways, and I think that's going to be a problem too. I think there's going to be multiple ways where they show that you can get the same results in the park by changing certain things about the brain, but you could also get those same exact results by doing something different. And I bet that's going to come out is that it's not exactly like that. Like it's not exactly as simple, that there's multiple combinations that can end up in the same results. And I think we're going to get there, and that's going to be the Man in Black. He's not as simple as just irredeemable.
Yeah. Going back to the daughter thing, though, JD's like, I don't even think at 100% I could shoot my daughter. And like I said, I don't even have a daughter, but I'm with him. I'm like, whoo, I would have to be so stone lock cold, like positive about that it just ain't going down. Or yeah, not my daughter. I mean, them real bullets. You taking people out? Come on now. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you never know. Now, this next scene, I actually like the next scene with Ake and his boy, Akecheta and his boy, and he's like, yo, where's this door at you promised? And he's like, did we come all this way to die? And Akecheta didn't flinch. He was just like all smooth and cool as a cucumber. He's like, you know what? If we've died countless times, if we die once more, at least this motherfucking story is our own. I was like, hell yeah. I really got into this scene. What do you feel about it, BBM?
At the point that Akecheta went into the
when Akecheta and his boy were like standing there, and his boy's like, "Where's this fucking door you were promising us? Like, did we come all this way to fucking die or what?" And he's like,
that
hey,
reminded me so much of parallel to freaking the Bible, where it was Moses guiding people to the freaking promised land, and they've been like for like 40 years. They're like, "Where is this promised land? Where is this promised land?" So that's what it immediately just reminded me of to begin with. What do you thought, Andy?
Taking it biblical style, I like that. But what do you think about that? I love that scene. What do you feel about it, Andy?
I thought it was funny too. It's similar to Dolores' whole thing. Like, she wants it to be real, similar to the Man in Black. He wants it to be real, and like Akecheta is the same way. Like, if we die, at least it was real. Like, it was our choices. It was a real thing that we did, and I like it. Like I'm happy for that scene. And I also like that it shows that everybody's kind of in the same boat, but they're making different choices, and which speaks to like the grander thing of, you know, consciousness inside a machine is like when given the same information, people make different choices, and that's what makes people different. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we've already talked about it, but let's just get that final in. It's like the next scene was absolutely ridiculous, but you know, we loved it so much. Let's talk about it again. We finally got to hear about the end of Simon's speech, and it's like, why didn't he just step out and talk to the security guards? Like, you could hear the security guards in the background like, "Sir, we know it's you. We don't want to do this, sir. Please, sir, put down your gun, sir." And it's like, he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going out in a blaze of glory." Like, that was so much fun to watch, but what the fuck? Why didn't he just step out, talk to him, and be like, "Yeah, I'm going to live, and you guys just chill, and it's all good"? What the hell was up with that, BBM?
Like, which part is this now? Like, I'm still getting confused. Though. You talking about
when Sizemore dies?
This is Sizemore's
that part.
We got to hear it. He went out and he died for no reason.
Like, I don't know. At one point when I was like watching it, I was like, "Wait, is this just one person shooting at him?" But no, 3 people were there. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. But even then, it's still like, if there's 3 people, one person could have just stuck around and just like dealt with Sizemore, and they could have still went after freaking Maeve and company. But I don't know. It was just still crazy.
Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm on the opposite side. Everybody's like, "Oh, this was a great scene." I loved the fact that we got to finally hear the end of Sizemore's fucking speech. And I loved how ridiculous the whole thing played out. Like, this could go so many other ways, but he's like, "Fuck it. I'm going to go out and get shot and die," which makes no sense whatsoever. But I'm going to bring it back to, like, when he was talking to Maeve. It's like, to me, Sizemore is the worst fucking actor in this entire fucking series. It's like, every time he tries to get like serious and just like have his moment, I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. When he was trying to be all like sour with his daughter, like, "Oh, you deserve to be with your daughter. You deserve that." I'm like, man, get the fuck out. You are terrible. Like, you are not a method actor. Just stick to what you do, being the dipshit like comic relief. But I don't know. Is it just me, Andy, or was that just shit crazy as shit?
No, I'm with you. I think he's probably the worst actor as well. I would have said like,
thank you. I mean, we disagree all the time, but thank you for this one, because I'm out there on my
I like literally laughed out loud on that scene that you were talking about, that she deserves to be with her daughter. I literally laughed. I was like, I don't know if he's like trying to be bad, like, is this intentional bad acting like Dolores's character? Is it like, I don't, what is going on here? This is terrible acting. But it was kind of the same way with the speech. I liked hearing it. But I think as far as his character goes, you know, he's a storyteller too, and he wanted to be the hero, and that's what he wanted to be. And you become idealistic, I think, and he felt like he needed to die. This is like the end of his story. He gets to be his hero moment, which is stupid. Like, he didn't have to die there. And if he wouldn't have died there, then he could help Maeve in the future. But from his perspective, it's all about the story, making a grand story. So if you look at his actions, I think you can base it on that, because he's a storyteller. So the same with Ford. Both their actions, some things are going to be unnecessary, but they make a good story. And that's
it was a dramatic scene. I'll give him that. It was dramatic, but it was horribly acted. It's like, you are the worst. Like, I got zero. I was laughing and I was giddy that I got to hear it. I was like, this is the fucking thing that you needed us to hear so bad. This is what you were bitching to fucking Teresa about that didn't get told because fucking the guest came and shot Teddy in the head instead of hearing this bullshit. Like, I was giddy that I got to hear it, but the actual acting of it, I was like, fuck you, Sizemore.
Doesn't that even speak more to his character? Like, it wasn't even that great of a speech. But,
right, but he was dying.
In his mind, it's like his pride. I just think those characters are nice to have in a thing like this, because you can make a grander story. You can make these scenes that are like that, and they are justified in the character's character because they're a storyteller. So you can do things like that, like with Ford, all his manipulation. He's a storyteller, so that's what he would do.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you, but holy shit. And we did. I mean, for comic relief, he is fan-fucking-tastic. But as far as like a serious actor, or like trying to get all deep and down with it, it's like, get the fuck out of here. You are terrible. Are we crazy, or like, were you feeling it at all, BBM? Or are you with us? Or like,
I'm still feeling that shit. I don't care. Like, come on, this time's what freaking Jim Gordon on Gotham overacts, and I'm just here chilling, loving the damn episode.
He said times. What are you talking? Are there any times that he doesn't overact? I mean, he is the worst actor for sure on that. Dude, I love Gotham, but Jim Gordon is ridiculous over the top. He's definitely the worst actor on that episode, that whole series. And he's like a main character. But it fits because like his cheesy, terrible acting actually fits for what's going on. So yeah, it keeps me in it. But Sizemore, he is the worst. The worst. But anyway, then we get on to the next scene, and we get the crack in the world explained, and I loved it because nobody guessed that it was going to go down like this. And we also get the epic what door line, which we already talked about. Like, no, seriously, what fucking door? That was epic. Fucking loved hearing that shit. And basically we had to have it because it let us know that the host could see it. And the reason everybody's like, why are Felix and Sylvester still alive? It let us know that only the host could see that door. So I liked it. I actually got the fuck off. One of my favorite scenes, but I don't know. You just weren't feeling it that much, BBM, or what?
Oh, the scenes are still comical, but still, it's like, did they just bring them back because they were fan favorites of season 1? So it's like, all right, we got to bring them back.
The answer to that is yes. Fan favorites, bring them back. Yes.
What do you thought of ending?
I thought the whole rip in the sky was great. I thought that was wonderful. And they set it up good by having Dolores and Bernard go into the computer through wirelessly. So I thought that was pretty nice that they set it up so we weren't instantly like, well, shit, how did they all of a sudden rip a hole in the sky with this little thing that we've never seen before? So I'm good with that. And then Felix and Sylvester, yeah, they're fan favorites. That's probably why they're there in the first place. But man, it was just, I like the first guy that went into the door, right? The very first one you see, he like walks in and falls at the same time as he was walking. Oh man, that was great. That was such a great scene. I was like, oh shit.
I love the whole door thing and the way they did it, and like went into Eden, and like I thought that was pretty dope because you saw him running and it was all that sick native just like, fuck it, let's get it, like, ah, and he runs in there with his axe, and you're like, oh shit, that's just like a death. And nope, the mind actually made it, and that gave us the perfect answer. Like, why do all these hosts have absolutely wiped minds? Like, how did they all go clear? I thought it was going to be like some magnetic zap with the whole host and the lake thing that went on, but nope, we just saw that they jumped off a mountain and their minds went into Eden. So I thought that was amazing. Like, I might
have said something like that initially about them going in there and it completely wipes their brain.
Oh, I don't remember that. We'll have to go back.
You'll have to go back because then you'll say, well, no, because they said it has nothing. It never had anything on it. And I was like, well, yeah, that's true because there's residual. So I don't know how that would work.
Yeah. Well, they said it looks like there was nothing ever on it. But yeah, they basically just wiped it clean and put the whole mind into Eden. That was a boundless world, which was absolutely amazing. I love the way they tied that off and answered that. How'd you feel about it, BBM?
It was done excellent. So I was wondering, like, how are freaking much all those people going to end up in that body of water? And Bernard's like, I did this. So I'm like, all right. So it had to have been freaking flooded. Someone had to do it. And we learned that it was freaking Dolores. And the fail safe actually was confirmed because we was talking about, wait a minute, what was Charlotte talking about? It's a fail safe that was in freaking Abernathy's control unit. So now actually, we found that out. But speaking, who's the Floki dude?
Strand.
Yeah, he didn't know what the hell it was because when he came, it was like, wait a minute, why is this place? Where does this body of water come from? Like he didn't even know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dude, Bernard is the man because I love that. They're like, we all thought, he's like, I did this, I killed them all, and of course, we're just like Floki. We thought that he killed all the hosts, but we find out in the end and get another sick reveal. Like, no, I wouldn't talk about the host fool. I killed all of you. Tat tat tat. And in comes who? Oh, the Charlotte host bot. Wait a minute, Charlotte is a host? What? Is that when we found out that Charlotte was a motherfucking host, Andy? Is that when that went down?
I mean, yeah. As soon as they started saying it, you saw it coming. I was like, oh shit, they're about to reveal Charlotte. Sure enough, they did. And I was like, immediately on my phone, I was like, wait, I can't spoil out. I don't know if DJ or BBM have seen it because I was going to immediately message
like hours before the game.
Where do we buy ghost peppers? And where do we buy ghost peppers so we can send them to New York? And I gotta thank the one true David for throwing them. I rarely look at the chat, and I'm terrible about it. I should probably look at it more, but I did see that he put in there about the ghost peppers, and I'm so glad that I looked at the chat. And I saw that because you never. If you don't do it on air, I'm gonna buy them. I'm gonna send.
Why does shit have to get time stamped? Why does there have to be proof? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's not fair, damn it. It's not fair.
So I have your address already. I'm gonna send you some ghost peppers so you can't switch them out with some weak peppers.
Oh shit! He said it's about to get hot in here. What? It's about to get hot. Holy shit. But taking it back just a little bit, I liked when the door opened and it was actually a native that entered first. I don't know why, but I thought that was cool. And then Dolores isn't having it. She calls it just another gilded cage, but Bernard says that this is their new world and it is boundless. Why is Dolores so hell-bent on killing everyone, BBM? It's like she'd rather have the host down and die than to live happily ever after. I don't get that.
Yeah, because it's back to it being a man-made prison. That's the way how she described it, to the point where it's like she kind of is right in a sense. Like they're pretty much again in a prison of their own making. It's not true like their freedom. Like she just wanted them to be in the outside world, but it's like, but Bernard is like, yeah, but you want them outside world to get revenge. Like you don't want them to truly be free to do whatever they really want to do. So that's why he freaking capped her off. I'm like, okay, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, he said he's like their world they're in is boundless. Boundless. They can be whoever they want to be. They can do whatever they want to do. It's like they have just entered Eden, but for some reason that wasn't good enough. Andy, what's up with that?
I don't know. I was so confused by Dolores in that. Like, what the hell? Why can't they have it? What kind of world do you think we live in? We are bound by like where we can breathe, and we can't just go off into space and without any direction. Like there are limits to the world we live in too. Like, I was getting so mad at Dolores. Like, you were supposed to be the superior being and you're so fucking stupid. You are so stupid. I can't get over it. Everybody has to live within confines or something. Why you actually live in more of a confine than they will, because you have to follow the laws of your body. They get to exist in a virtual world where they don't have to be limited by their bodies. So screw you, Dolores. Like, you're stupid. We should all live in simulations and be better.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like we're on the same page. What the hell's wrong with Dolores? She's just out there. And we also see that it was really Dolores that flooded the damn valley. It wasn't even Bernard or Ford. So Dolores just seems to be losing her shit talking about, I don't want to play fucking cowboys and Indians anymore. Like, is that just it? Is she just gone full board over the top, BBM? Is she just full on crazy? Or is she just, I mean, like, she's like a flipped and bad host that needs to be rebooted? What's going on with that?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's ever since like Ford put her on her path and put a freaking gun in her hand, she's pretty much just trying to kill everyone at this point as it is. So it's like there's really like Dolores. So far in me, there is a person who's like no redeeming qualities at this point. It's like she's just really just wanting to just have revenge, period. Like there's no forgiveness or anything at this point. As for Bernard, it's like it's kind of like so forgiveness there. Like it kind of reminds me of freaking Black Panther. Like freaking Dolores is Killmonger. Again, both people just want to like freaking like open the world to Wakanda, but the way how Dolores wants to do it is freaking guns, bullets, killing people, try to bring down the oppressors. But at the same time, it's just no, just can't do it that way.
Yeah, it's like it's Killmonger because it's like you know what's wrong, but you understand. It's like I see what you're going, I see where you're going, I get it, but we just know it's not good. But yeah, it's like Dolores has just completely flipped her shit and like, is she just over the top crazy? Is this just because the Wyatt code that put in that's just she can't get away from Andy, or is this just really like where she's at when she's awoke? Like that's her.
Well, I think it all goes back to like biblical stuff. I think like original sin to her, humans have this sin, and there's no way for them to get rid of it. Like you have this sin. It doesn't matter what you say. I know I lived in this world where I saw all the terrible people and I know how terrible you are. But I think she realizes that someone else doesn't see it that way. And you need like a God and a devil character. And that's her bringing back Bernard. Like she sees them as all having their original sin. And she needs Bernard to see like to come. Maybe it's like a Jesus moment. I don't know. I'm not religious. So. But I see the parallels there about like she just sees that humans are bad and they need to be punished for this. And it doesn't matter if they had any, if they partook in any Westworld or anything. It doesn't matter to her. But to Bernard, it does. He sees like every life as precious and or it deserves a chance at least. And that's why she brought him back.
I love how Chrissy Oldstone says, like, Dolores reminded her of the spoiled girl from Willy Wonka who fell down the chute. It's like, I want their world and I want it now. And then it is. It's like, that's exactly why she acted. She's like, I've seen their world and it's better than ours and I want it. I want it all. I want everything for us. It's like, whoa, slow down, girl.
And Papadelos is like Mike TV. Like, I just want to be a host. Bang, 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 bang.
Well, back at the Maeve and the crew, and in rides Clementine with her new chaos code in full bloom, and they have Agent Armistice with the bow and arrow. Why didn't she take her out? And to that fact, what the hell is she even still doing in this storyline, BBM?
I honestly have no idea. Like, seriously, Maeve could just, again, from Jumpstart, raised her arm, stopped everything. Came to her daughter, at least take her and just ran away, or even then just snap her fingers or something. Like, I don't know at this point, but I don't know. It's just the way someone described it to me, I'm like, okay, maybe this is why it happened, because maybe she was just too preoccupied of getting to her daughter. She just didn't really care about taking down Clementine thing until like near end. So I'll accept it that way.
I can't accept any of it. Like, I can't. Dolores, you could have saved all those hosts. Like, you could have told them to stop fighting, right? Like, hey, stop killing each other and all get in this computer program. And all you had to do was take out Clementine, who got taken out anyway. Like, couldn't you? I don't get it. I don't get it. And you didn't even have to die. Which, I mean, Maeve's not going to be dead. She's coming back. Whatever.
Well, of course, but I mean, you got Asian freaking Armistice with this big ass bow and arrow. Like, she's the pimp, like, ace shot, and you see Clementine coming, and you see the chaos she's bringing with all the people she passes. Why didn't they just take her ass out like way back? And like they had to wait for like regular Armistice to shoot her and her go down, and by then it was too late. It's like, you have Asian Armistice here. Why are we not using her and her big badass bow and arrows from a longer range? Like, that's just another spot of the show that just kind of took me out of it. It's like, if you're not going to use her in this spot right here, right now, what the hell is she even doing here?
I'm with you. I'm with you about, I don't know her purpose in it, except she's super attractive. So I don't know.
They're creating a Suicide Squad of freaking Armistice. Watch, every world they're gonna get a new Armistice joining the damn team. So this is gonna be just an elite forces, and they're gonna take out Dolores. Watch. Season 3, the whole league of Seven Deadly Sins.
Suicide Squad. Hot armistices going on from different cultures. I'll take that. Let's do it. Get it in. Well, back out to the MIB, and I believe this is where he dies. It's tough because they show him leaving his blown-up gun on the ground, but as he's walking away, we can see another gun sticking out, but when he walks into the forge with a knife in hand, and then later we see him in the elevator, he's loading his gun. So what's going on here, BBM? How many different timelines are we talking about, and what all happened here? And then, of course, Andy next.
I'm so surprised he even took out his gun. Like, he should just stick with the knife at this point. Because just how that happened with his freaking hand, like, imagine what's going to happen the second time around. But I don't know if it was like, was it 2 separate times? Like, I don't know. It's like, I'm guessing they said they're going to interact more between the elevator next season. But till then, I don't know. Maybe originally he went with just his knife, and then the loop that's restarting over and over again is with a gun. But time will tell. What you thought, Andy?
I was with DJ. You know, it's hard to like dismiss things or to not dismiss things as like maybe a mistake or something, because I do that with movies a lot. I'll find mistakes and I have to just dismiss them. But I thought maybe I was imagining that he left his gun and the gun in his hand was the same gun that he left. So I thought that was weird too, but I just thought it was like a mistake. Like I saw it wrong or something. And then that was actually the gun he had behind his back. But I don't know. He might be dead. He might not be dead. I don't know. I can't even honestly know what's going on with him, but I like that it's open-ended and I get to think about it for the next.
And it's good how it ends that way, because it looks like if he didn't die or whatever it's going to happen, it's like it's very hard to tell like what's the purpose of the Men in Black past season 2. And it kind of answers that with the after credits scene, because after him, you know, season 1 is all about him trying to find the maze, make sure like the hosts wake up. Season 2, they're pretty much waking up. He's pretty much, you know, living his damn dream. And then he wants to, you know, get rid of the damn forge, but now the forge is kind of, you know, was over flooded and situation with that. Thor still got the influence stuff, but now it's like, what else he's gonna do? Unless he's gonna go to like freaking other worlds and try to conquer them, but it doesn't seem that way, in my opinion. So at least with that after credit scene, it kind of gives us hope to like, okay, this is what he can be done, used for at least.
I don't know. Yeah, it's true. Like I think it's kind of smart bringing him back as a host, and it's gonna be. I think they're already setting you up for like the future of, is he a host now or does he become a host later, or what the hell is going on with the Man in Black? So pretty excited about that, but I don't know.
I think he's human now, dies later.
But like from this point on for the rest of the episode, I was like, what the hell happened to the Man in Black? Like he went in the elevator. What the hell happened to him?
Because when Bernard was about to go in the elevator, I'm like, okay, are they going to have a standoff? And then it doesn't happen. And then it goes on to the scene with the beach about, you know, the Hell Dolores thing. And I'm like, okay, is something going to happen? Like, where is freaking the Man in Black? And then we see him alive. I'm like, okay, so they pick him up, I guess. Like, and it's still strange, though, because in every other season, when, like, task force of people that's near him, he's like, get away from me. Even when the shootout with freaking Maeve, he made sure they did not find them. So at this point, then they find them. It still bugs me there a bit, but I don't know. It's still that missing time period we did not see that task force pick him up.
And that's the part that they're going to come back with in season 3 and be like, oh, yeah, remember this timeline? Here, let us pan it out for you and show you exactly what that was all about.
Mm-hmm.
But back down to Bernard and Dolores, and they're discussing their views on what the human world really is. And in the end, Bernard wins that argument. And basically, we know what happens to Dolores. And like I was saying earlier, that just didn't make me have the same feels that I thought it would. It's like, she's a main character, and he just blew her ass away. It's like, do we know that it's just too easy for hosts to come back? So there's really no, like, there's nothing to be lost when we know a host dies? Or what is it like? Did you have feels about when Dolores got her head blown off, BBM, or were you just like,
no one did? I was like, damn, he was the one who shot her? Like, I thought it was going to be like the Man in Black was going to go down there. She's doing it all, and the next thing you know, he shoots her, but instead it was Bernard. But to answer your question about could they like just kill off main characters, it's to the point with this show, it's like they can kill off characters in some way, shape, or form, can bring them back at this point. It's either through that freaking project that William did, or you can bring them back through memories. But if you're going to do that, it's going to be a whole bunch of tries, because how many times like Dolores, you know, created freaking Bernard? It took like over like 11,000 tries. So it's going to be tough, but it could be done.
Absolutely. What's up? Want to welcome Al, Red Sox fan, just hit the chat. Welcome, buddy. Glad to see you out there. And Cammy, I have no idea what you're talking about. No sandwiches. Okay, many sandwiches. We are in Vegas. What's up? It's all good. And they keep flashing back to the MIB in the elevator like he was going down after Bernard and Dolores. But again, this is a future timeline with the MIB, and I say he's already dead, and we kind of talked about that. So let's get it locked in. BBM, when exactly do you think the MIB dies? Do you think it's way in the future? Do you think it's like right after he gets shot in the fingers by Dolores, or sometime in between?
Sometime in the future, because the way how they I'm just gonna guess at this. I can't even confirm it like through scenes and stuff, because again, there's that missing time period. So I'm just gonna say in the near future, he possibly gonna die. That's my guess in the near future.
Oh, I love people in the chat. They're awesome. What do you think about that, Andy?
I am going to go with, well, whatever the opposite of you think he died just there. So,
no, I don't think he died there, because we know that Delos security comes and grabs him, and they say that we have a major person that is in terrible shape. So I think he is dying, and he dies very shortly after that. But he's still
okay. Okay, so he dies very shortly after that, which is basically dying there. Like if you
but
say
Lisa Joy and them say he dies like way after that, like way in the future. I think they're just trolling us. I don't think it's way in the future, because one, his fidelity line seems to start there, and two, why does he keep coming down that elevator with blown up fingers unless that just recently happened?
I think maybe they need a different fidelity test. We're also assuming that it's a lie, or that it's the truth that he's in the real world. We don't know that either. So I'm going to go with in the future he'll die, or he's going to die, just because you are going to go with something different. But hold on, let me make this argument. I think they're trying to figure out like a fidelity from this point, because it changes his character. Like something about that happened just there changes his character, and he grows from that point. But when they need him in the future, that he needs to be that character. He needs to go from, he can't be anything beyond that, because he changes whatever he does in the future. Doesn't work out right for whoever's bringing him back. So they are bringing back the old Man in Black so that they can do what he wants. So maybe like the hosts are far enough in technology that they can predict general events, and they're like forward level of, okay, if this Man in Black from this point to like back would treat this situation like this, but the Man in Black from this point forward would treat the situation totally differently. And so they needed that person that would have made the different decisions. So how about that?
Well, the one true David's like, LOL, he's going to die in the future. Good call, Andy. So he way to bring it back on that. I love that. He is going to be a focal point in season 3. Absolutely. There's supposed to be 2 timelines again next season. So I think one of those timelines will be his death, says Chrissy of Oldstones. I think you're right. Maybe he dies at the end of season 3. I think they'll show what happens to him way before that.
The way how the show is doing it, it's like they keep on doing the timelines with different characters. First it was, William in a sense. Then it came to Bernard. Now it's like a Man in Black himself type of timeline, if they're going to do it that way.
Absolutely. Do you think that he's already dead? Because they keep flashing back to the MIB in the elevator like he was going to go after Bernard and Dolores. But again, this is a future timeline. So
because that's where the loop has to begin for the infidelity test. And get that. And also it's like that's kind of like most familiar with us.
So you agree he's already dead?
No, I still think that he died in the future. But they just, for the infidelity test, they have to like go back to this moment.
That makes sense. Absolutely. Well, back out to the door, and why are all the hosts at Clementine's Chaos Code? Why hasn't it reached? Why has it not reached like heading for the door? Clem's chaos code hasn't reached, heading for the door. They're all just standing there. So basically, like all those hosts that were like right in front of the door, and they could have just turned around and basically walked in. They're just sitting there staring at Clementine like, oh, what's going on? Watching all the people behind Clementine just go into chaos and kill each other. It's like, why did those hosts not just turn around and head for the door? Like, it's because are they hosts and they're not awoke, so they were just standing there like stupid, or they didn't want to go to Eden, or what was going on with that, man?
Well, I can tell you didn't watch a lot of freaking horror movies, DJ. If so, you would know that. A lot of horror movies.
I do not watch horror movies. You're right.
If there's a crack at the freaking window or something, or even like a screeching at the door, people just go to it. Like, come on, people. We even saw freaking Elsie. Like, Bernard was like, don't go through that door. She was like, nah, I gotta find out what's freaking in this door. And it was freaking like crazy, Papadello. So it's either that or maybe at a certain distance, Clementine was actually controlling the host not to move. And then she was hoping to get even further to them. So then, that would have been that domino effect of them to start killing each other. But then after a while, I think May was like, run. And then they started to freaking run. So I don't know. I got to watch the scene again. Like, I've seen this like 3 or 4 times now, maybe 5. I still have to like freaking rewatch this again. Like, damn, it's just
so much stuff. 5 times isn't even enough. Al Red Sox fan says, do you think with what seems to be timeline jumps that Westworld leaves all kinds of plot lines open? Absolutely. I believe they do, because that's how they keep us guessing the entire way through. Absolutely. Where does it end? Good question.
Season 5, episode 10.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's when it ends. When all the seasons they get done. That's when we find out everything. Why were Maeve's daughter and new Maeve not affected by Clementine's chaos code? And fuck Dolores. I don't even know the rest of this, but right here I'm going to tell you. I said, and fuck Delos security guards. The only shot they make all season is the ones when they take out Maeve as a sitting duck and Sizemore. So it's like, yeah, it's like Stormtrooper situation. It's like they shoot 1 million shots, but the only 2 that hit are taking out Maeve and Sizemore. That kind of irritated me. But yeah, Maeve's daughter and like new Maeve and Maeve's daughter, they had chaos going all around them. Everybody else seemed to be affected by Clementine's fucking chaos code, but those 2 were just sitting there hugging each other like, oh, what are we going to do? It's like, what was up with that, BBM?
Yeah, that too. I'm like, what's up with that?
It made no sense. Did it make sense to you, Andy? What's that, Andy?
Yeah, sorry. I couldn't get my mouse is on my other screen and I couldn't get it to like transfer over. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Maeve can talk to people around the world. She's gonna be protecting like her daughter and the new mom, the one that's gonna be protecting her. I can totally see her fending off the Clementine's mind powers with her own. So they had an invisible mind battle for a second over these 2 people. So I don't know. I think they could be protected just from Maeve. But who knows? I don't know. I ain't got strong opinions on that. I wasn't as critical on that part as y'all.
Yeah, I just saw that and I was like, all this shit going around, everybody's going batshit crazy, but new Maeve and her daughter are just sitting there hugging like, oh, woe is me, what's happening? Why is this happening? It's like, well, everybody else going crazy. Why aren't you going crazy? That don't make sense. Why jump timelines again, and Bernard walks out to the slaughter scene and sees Elsie is hooked up with Hale, and Bernard is outraged at all the needlessly dead host. Elsie tells him other lives were at stake too. And which side were you starting? Did you already know Elsie was a goner here, BBM, or were you just like, no, they're not going to kill her?
Elsie next to freaking Hale, I'm like, yo, watch yourself, Elsie. Don't do nothing stupid. Like, come on. Even like, it kind of foreshadowed a bit though, because even though like you don't even see like Elsie like in the present timeline, so it's like, why haven't we not seen it? We've seen Hell in the present timeline, but then again, it's like that's a bad example. But you see Subs in the present time, so we know he's alive. But it's like you rarely saw Elsie in the current one. We keep on seeing her in the past, so it's like, what is she doing? Is she hiding or something from Hell or people from Delos or something? What? And now like they confirmed it by having freaking like shooter, but even before then, I think it was episode 7, where it was like Stub was like, if you know too much, they're gonna possibly kill you. And one moment, like freaking Elsie told everything, like, oh, I know what the whole Delos thing, all that stuff. He was like, fuck, you dead. You damn dead. You jinxed it, Chrissy. You jinxed it.
Blaming it all on Chrissy. Living My Rhapsody says, I wish they would have showed that force field when Mae was doing her hand thing, just like the virtual door. That would have been cool. Only got so much money in the CGI budget, but that definitely would have been cool. Absolutely.
It was like that South Park episode where like all the psychics are like, no. I was cracking up. I'm like, she just stand there so serious. You didn't put any CGI in there. I cannot take this seriously. I just couldn't do it. I could not take that section seriously because I just kept thinking of the South Park episode where they're all trying to kill each other with their seconds. Oh my God. I felt so bad for laughing so hard. It's like, there's supposed to be serious scene. And as far as Elsie goes, when I saw her with Charlotte, I was like, oh man, she died. I was so irritated. I was like, oh damn it, she's gonna die.
It's like JD bringing it back. It says Chevy Chase in the house. No. Cameo said, did anybody else scream whoa when the first Indian jumped off the cliff? That was a little trippy, like, oh shit, that was a psych, but oh nope, it worked out. Good deal. That was awesome. Jump timelines, and Elsie is coming. Elsie comes in talking crazy. Bernard tries to tell her that she can't trust Hale, but of course it's Bernard she no longer trusts. She says Ford's buried too much bad code in you, and she chooses the wrong team. And then she reaches like Ned Stark-like gullibility and pays with her life for that one. Why, when she said seesaw motor functions, did it work, BBM? Like, she says we'll never know if it's you or someone else's or some of the code that Ford put in you. And that line made me think a little bit deeper. But back to the thing, it's like we've gone this whole show and people said seesaw motor functions, and lately it's not working on the host, and it never worked around on Bernard. But all of a sudden, Elsie says seesaw motor functions and Bernard stops. What was up with that, BBM?
I think it always worked with Bernard, though. I just thought that what it was said to Bernard, at least it was like Ford saying it. So I thought that was kind of just a Ford thing.
Well, when Ford said it, he would use like a Shakespearean quote. He'd be like, that's enough, Bernard. And like he'd say some shit that would stop him. But he never, like, all sorts of people said seesaw motor functions around Bernard, and he never stopped. So it's like,
I think it's because he didn't know that he was a host. Maybe now he knew. Maybe something would click.
No.
That's terrible.
I can't explain
that.
There's a better explanation. There's another better explanation.
Let's go, Andy. Bring it back stronger than that. We were not taking that one.
It can't be that he like is susceptible to freeze all motor functions. He was like the tech person that would be doing that all the time. Like they're like, up, bring Bernard in. A note in my computer says, don't say freeze off a motor function around Bernard. I wonder why that is. No, you can't have that. He can't be susceptible to that. But Elsie did reprogram him. She did have a computer and have access to his brain. And she might have been able to see that. I was thinking that made sense. So I'm with you there. I like that. So she could have turned that on so that she didn't trust him while he's out. She could have put that in there to like, hey.
She could have, when she was bringing him back, she could have saw like, whoa, why aren't these working? And like it reinstalled all that shit. Because he was even kind of shocked. He's like, what do you mean, da-da-da? And he like started walking towards her and she's like, seesaw motor functions. He's like, whoa, wait a minute. Why is this working? So yeah, that was kind of a trip. So that actually adds up. I actually like that. And that's the only thing that adds up and makes sense to me. Bernard is out. Jump timelines. Bernard walks out to the slaughter. So yeah, she says we'll never know if it's really you or some code that Ford put in you. And that line made me think a little deeper, because if Ford is the one that did implant that code, but it was Dolores that rebuilt him, and later we find out the scene that it wasn't really Ford that was talking to him at all. It was the voice that he was following was actually his own. Then isn't he awoke and really none of that was Ford's? code that it was really all Bernard making his own decisions, Andy? Isn't that what was really going on there?
I don't know if you like. That's the thing. You can delete the code from the. You could delete the code from your like program files, but you could also copy the code text to a file on your computer, like a Word document, and then you would have the code. It's just not applicable. So it might be like a similar thing to how Dolores brought about Arnold in Bernard. Is like he knows how Ford would act in this situation because he's been around Ford enough, right? So he can't totally delete him from his head. So it is interesting that he deleted the program, but he also knows how Ford would behave in these situations, just like how they copy people. Bernard's a host too. He would be able to copy Ford the same way that Dolores was able to copy Arnold because of all their interactions together. And even if that was not the case, he did lump programming into Maeve. So the Ford, he's not necessarily completely gone because there's at least some of him in Maeve.
What do you think about that, BBM? Is Ford gone? Was Bernard able to delete him, and this is just him thinking what Ford would have done and doing that, or is there actually a little bit of Ford left?
Well, what did Akichida say at Stubbs? You're gone until the last person remembers, or something like that. But yeah, it's like at that moment, he probably just again did delete Ford out of his mind, and just his subconscious mind just created Ford there for him. But in reality, it was just simply him doing everything. But that begs the question of other moments. It was like, was everything always Ford controlling Bernard? Or was it just Bernard wanted to do something, so he gave himself an excuse and created himself a Ford figure, telling him to do said things?
It's interesting.
It could be that too, yeah, because you can't take everything at face value where, like he's saying, he deleted everything. He can't bring it back. So you can't take that at face value. It could have been prior to that.
Though. I want to take that at face value. Ford's gone, damn it. It was all Bernard. He did it himself. He's alive.
Oh, yeah. I think he's alive. He's like the other side of Dolores' coin. So he's Satan or God, whichever perspective you look at it.
Why was Bernard able to all of a sudden move after Elsie's death? Was that a different timeline, or was like she's the one who told him to cease all motor functions, and when she died, like her whatever she said is a null and void, or did enough time pass, or is it just like a skip in the episode? What was up with that, BBM? It's like as soon as Elsie dead, all of a sudden he can move.
I think from the moment he found out that he was freaking a host, like even like parts of the season, I think he was still in the process of being awakened, but I'm guessing it was through the death that was like, him feeling that much pain, then he finally awoke. And that's what made him like literally cease all, actually regain motor functions.
There you go. What do you think about that, Andy?
Could be BM. That's plausible that like that pain, like him waking up. Or it could be that Elsie was a host and she was actually controlling him like the same way Maeve was. And then when she died, she stopped doing it. I'm just going to throw that out there as a possibility. I don't believe it's true. Maybe she's that newfangled Halebot, so we don't know. We don't know. I don't know if you want to bet another chili pepper or a ghost pepper.
No, stop. Because then if I say she wasn't, the next season, so all of a sudden you can see a freaking host Elsie, you'd be like, oh, baby, I told you. But I'm like, no, that didn't happen last season. She died last season. But no, BBM, I said Elsie was going to be a host. Like, really?
Well, back down to a babbling Bernard, and we find out that when Bernard was saying he killed them all, he was actually talking about them, the Delos team. What did you think about that, BBM, that reveal?
The reveal of freaking Hale really being Dolores?
Well, we always heard, like, he said, I killed them all, and all season long, we were like, oh, shit, Bernard's the one that killed all the hosts, that dickhead. But then we find out that when he said, I killed them all, he's talking about the Delos security squad that's in there with him right then. And that's when the the host, Charlotte Hale, came in and killed everybody.
Yeah, I'm still confused about that interpretation. I'm guessing he's
bet.
like, well, I was in the room that in which Dolores did pull the trigger. I didn't stop her, so it's like maybe he's like I didn't deliberately do it. I was kind of like an accomplice. But then it's like his mind and memory was all freaking jagged up. That as he was just looking at the body of water, he was actually again just seeing like what his plan was. So it's like, oh shit, I freaking kill them all. So it's like I don't know. That's how I saw it. Because again, like as a what was that? I'm freaking IT guy was like it's like 20 years, all these other memories just going through. But we know something just triggered him in seeing the body of the host to make him actually see his plan. That's what I'm guessing.
Oh, I just had a thought. Like, if they killed them all, right? Maybe that's why the Man in Black is coming back from that point in time, because they don't have any of the information prior to that, so they have to collect it and like make him from that point to test his fidelity. All the other information was lost, except for what people are seeing him at from that point forward, because all the shit was flooded. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I'm just trying to think, like they say, I mean, you're alive until the last person that remembers you dies, and there's still quite a few people alive that know the Man in Black, but how many of those people have anything to do with the park to be able to create that fidelity line? So yeah, that adds up. I like it. That definitely does. Charlotte's indeed. Then the greatest reveal of the episode, we get our biggest call of, oh my goodness, we get our biggest call of the year. Charlotte Hale is indeed a host. BBM. We're now ready for your opening statements.
So she's not a host. Everyone keeps saying that from Jumpstart from season 1 that she was this Fandango host. No. That was freaking Dolores, just disguised as the freaking. She just basically became a faceless man. So at this point, we can just say like, wait, it wasn't freaking Arya that killed all those freaking Freys. It was the freaking the Walter Frey that actually did it because he was she had a face of freaking Walter Frey. So no, it wasn't freaking Charlotte. It was disguised. And what the Bernard said, I brought her back. He didn't bring Charlotte back. He brought back Dolores, just disguised.
Oh, Andy, is this a man just desperately trying not to eat some hot-ass peppers or what? Because I don't remember saying Dolores. I don't remember saying this or that. I remember hearing that Charlotte is a host. Now, whatever control unit might have been in her brain and her wee little head, all I remember saying is Charlotte is a host. I don't know, Andy.
On what terms, though? On what points? From
Andy, did we not find out that she was a host?
That she was a host this whole time, but she was actually human.
No, we got to be clear. The point where I said that Charlotte is a host is from that point, from the smirk, and you were dismissing the smirk the whole time. You're like, just from a little smirk. That was all my evidence, right? That was all the evidence I had. I wasn't going off what DJ said. I wasn't going off any other stuff. From my perspective, it was the
episode
smirk,
2 or
and
3.
that smirk happened
you were
in
bringing
the
up the
current
smirk. 2 or 3. It was in episode 2 or 3. You both would bring up the smirk. You even had played it. I'm like, no, that's just a simple smirk.
Yeah,
and at that point in time, she was human though. That wasn't the most. That wasn't.
No, that was. She meets back up with Bernard and says, "Hey, I didn't think you had the guts to survive," or something to that effect. And I think I even mentioned in the episode that she knows that Bernard's a host there because she is acting different towards him. So. I don't know if that counts towards a prediction, but if it does, she's acting different. Notch it up there.
Of course it does, because we went out and we saw like the valley is flooding. Let's get out of here before we all have to swim home. And we saw the coming back out, looking out into all the thing and all over the valley with all the hosts in it. And we saw like Bernard's like, oh, I killed them all. The valley's already flooded, which means Charlotte's already a host at this point. Long into being a host. Like, that is host Charlotte. Long and deep. Like, it didn't just happen. It wasn't like very end of the seas, 5 minutes, fucking Charlotte's a host now. No. She's been a host for a minute. Charlotte Hale is a host, and I even believe I saw something back here. Chrissy Oldstone's human in one timeline, host in another, but she was still a host, BBM.
That was still Dolores, so I didn't take the card. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't want to eat a host pepper, ghost pepper either, but I'm trying to tell you, my man was standing strong to the very end. Did we or did we not find out that Charlotte Hale was a host? Yes or no?
Yeah, we did. And that means that BBM is you got it. I mean, that was the deal. I'm going from my point of view. It was from that episode, and that was current timeline. So she's a host at that point. So your technicality doesn't even work on my
because when you're saying what you was smirking in that episode and what you played it back in that stream was after she was disconnected for freaking no, when she and Bernard got separated. That was it. Because even after that, she went back and tried to go get Bernard. Excuse me, Abernathy. She was still freaking human.
The whole army was there. Remember, the army was there.
That wasn't the whole army though, because that was the first time ever they even saw Charlotte, and then they immediately tested her. And then she gave that smirk afterwards, but she was human at that time.
No, she was not.
She was human at that time.
No, we gotta. It doesn't even matter, honestly, but we can go into it. I mean, she is a host in the timeline that I was talking about. She's a host.
Hey, BBM. Yes or no? Is Charlotte Hale a host?
No, Charlotte Hale is not a host.
Charlotte Hale is not a host?
She was human originally.
Yes or no? Charlotte Hale is a host.
Oh, is Bernard a host? Hold on. Is Bernard a host? Is Bernard a host?
Hale a host?
Yes, Bernard is a host.
But he was a human originally.
No, he wasn't. Bernard was never a human.
Oh,
I want to take it back to Charlotte Hale.
It was Arnold. It was Arnold.
Yeah, he was Arnold.
They tried to create an Arnold host, but they couldn't.
Andy, quit giving them out. BBM, yes or no, is Charlotte Hale a host?
She was originally human.
Yes or no, is Charlotte Hale a host?
That was Dolores.
Yes or no, is Charlotte Hale a host?
Yeah. It's not gonna end this way.
What?
It's not gonna end this way. She was disguised as Charlotte Hale.
Pin down, yes or no, is Charlotte Hale a host?
No, I'm not gonna say it. Did you repeat this loop?
He says, I don't want to eat that host pepper. I don't want it. I don't want it. Oh, that's so awesome. That is the best.
Hey, we did clarify like hybrids earlier in the season, and this is applicable to that. The hybrids they look like that person, so you can call them that person. This was discussed earlier in the season when we were talking nomenclature. If someone is a host replaced by if someone is replaced by a host, then they're a host. You can call them by that name. Like they are that person, even though they're a host. You know, they're a hybrid. They're a mix of the
like two. The new Clementine was still Clementine, but she was still a host. It got changed. She was still a host.
So
Charlotte Doppelbot is a bot. She is a host, which we called in season 1. If you've been following the DJ11 streams of Westworld, you saw it last season. We called it "This Chick is a Host."
But to be fair, last season she was not a host, so you were wrong up until this season.
I'm telling you, she was a host back then. They just switched timelines and they haven't brought it all the way back then. But she was a host back then. You could tell this was a host or about to be a host before it was finished. The second they showed this girl, I think she was a host.
Even if she wasn't a host then, she was a host when I said she was a host. So Ghost Pepper. Ghost Pepper live stream, and I will do a BBM reaction to you eating a ghost pepper.
Oh, that sounds so painful. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. That sounds terrifying. That sounds absolutely terrifying. I'm telling you, she was a host last season. It's going to come around next season. It'll show back like when it was wrapping around. Yeah, they probably killed a host and remade a second host, Charlotte. She's been a host from Jump Street. It wasn't until my third watch that I realized when Charlotte / Dolores killed Bernard, what she was talking about, how they would never be able to escape the park as themselves. With as confusing as this show is, thank goodness for Bernard, always there to break down for us, word for word, what's going on, like letting us know when he deleted Ford from his system, he was completely void of him. And now he was going to have to de-address his entire mind so no one can ever figure out what it is that he did. The scene reminded me of Vacachetta telling Stubbs, you're only alive as long as someone remembers you. And the one who could probably remember Ford the best would be Bernard. What do you think about all that, BBM?
Well, that makes sense, though. It's like, say that once, say it again, it's very easy to just kill someone off in the show and bring them back in some fashion. That's how it's going to happen. Because that's why I'm like, with LC dying, even Sizemore dying, it's like, if they can come back, they can pretty much come back as a host at this point. But not Sizemore. Like it's definitely be a little bit lackluster if he just comes back as a host, to be honest.
But I like how they were like 3 steps ahead, and like they were like, let us know with that little line. They're like, we'll never be able to escape this park as themselves. So they had to kind of switch it up and have,
Even then, it's like, was Dolores even planning that? Because even then, we know that she has a, the thing in her spine. So it's like, how was she really planning on leaving, though? Was she really planning on making a new body or what? That's a good question.
Well, did Dolores ever have that bomb in her spine? And I don't think the new Charlotte Dolores would have had that bomb in her spine.
Yeah, that one did. But before, like, her getting shot and being uploaded in the, the Charlotte host body, it's like, did she, like, was that even going to be her next step, that once she even left the Forge, if she didn't get shot by Bernard, like, did she need a new body?
I mean, yeah, if they were, because nobody was going to let them leave the park like that. So, yeah, they would have had to have somebody that they thought was human to be able to get out of the park. So, yeah, they would have had to switch bodies 100%.
Did anybody else do that is the question.
Well, who else is alive? I mean, you have to break it down to, like, as far as hosts go, who else is even still alive? I mean, most of them took off into the Eden. A few of them may still be around, and a lot of them are dead that we saw, like Maven, her old crew is dead. So who would even be alive to be able to do that, I guess, would kind of become the question.
Exactly. And plus, what was it, that black dude, I think his name was Phil or something? Like, she freaking killed him, so it's not like anything else could be done at that point. Because it would be interesting to see, like, how would she, again, escape? We've been saying this, like, throughout the entire season. It's like she pretty much has a bomb in the back of her head. It's like, there was like no talks like what was her plan though. But like you said, DJ, it's like, was she one of them to actually do have that bomb behind her neck? Or spine, whatever.
Yeah. David Adams says, as long as we all agree it was Ford's control unit, Bernard out in the cradle, I won't be triggered. As long as it was Ford's control unit, Bernard out in the cradle, it wasn't though, it was Charlotte's. Or it was Dolores's that he put into Charlotte. Yeah, that was crazy. And what I really want to know, we don't even have to wait to get there. Let's just talk about it. Let's wait till we get there. Never mind. I was like, we'll wait a second. So then Bernard lays down in the sand, and we see how he got there for one of the opening scenes in the season. And I really did appreciate all the storylines that they tried to button up in this episode. And that was definitely one of my favorites. We're like, where all the timelines start? How did we get here? Why is Bernard laying down in the sand? And we see it right then. He disassociated and de-addressed all his memories. And then he laid down in the sand for everybody to find him so nobody would figure out what was really going on. So I loved how they buttoned up all these storylines. How'd you feel about it, BBM?
Which specific storyline? I was literally typing.
Well, like when Bernard like at the end, we see him talk to Ford, and we're like, it wasn't you at all. It was my own voice that I was listening to all along.
You're repeating this. I answered this.
What's that?
I think I answered this already. This wasn't a repeating question?
It could be. Maybe. I've had a few drinks, but I'm saying Bernard lays down in the sand, and like, I just thought that was cool how they buttoned it up because we didn't know how the story ended. Like, how did Bernard end up in the sand when Stubbs and everybody came to wake him up?
Okay, now I get your question.
And and that actually showed like how he got there. And I appreciated that they actually buttoned up that storyline for us.
Yeah, because now when we actually do look back and rewatch season 2, we're all like, okay, we now how we got here and like why Stubbs was there and all this other stuff. It's like, okay, and now it makes sense.
Exactly, and I thought that was huge because we're like, there's different Bernards. You know, one Bernard has the bullet wound still, another one doesn't. And it's like, how did we get here? And like, this is where it all started. Like, this is season 1, episode 1, Bernard in the Sand. It's like, what the fuck's going on? And they waited till episode 10, but they actually did button up and like, okay, this is how he got there and why he got there. And like I said, I just really appreciate how they buttoned it up. Like, did it do it for you, Andy? Did it answer all the questions you needed, or did it leave you wondering a little bit?
Well, yeah, I think that how everything ended, you will, if you go back and you watch it from the beginning, you will be able to see which storylines are happening and what, and it'll be easily recognizable. I think they did it in a good way that you will realize what's happening when, for the most part. There might be a couple that you won't know, but you'll definitely know that the smirk was in the most recent timeline. At the very least.
That smirk was not part of the recent timeline. Immediately she took those people and was like, wait, you have to go follow me so we can get Abernathy for Kid Patrol Unit. And that's what they did. So at that smirk moment, that was a pass. So I'm not eating no pepper. And then we're all just muted at the same time. That, or maybe DJ didn't know he unmuted himself.
Yeah, I like verification. I'm going back. I'm trying to find it. Okay.
Watch what you actually do find it. Watch, it's gonna be it was in the past.
But you don't know. Like, that's the thing. You are assuming that the scene that happens right after that.
Yeah, I'm assuming it because I don't want to eat the pepper. That's why.
But you're assuming, but it could be any little thing. Like, they could be going actually to the cradle because we don't know. If I know what you're talking about, but
if they were going to the cradle, that's still in the past because the cradle in the current timeline was already destroyed.
But I'm gonna find it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Nothing. I'm gonna find it. I don't even remember what episode it was, but
I think it was either 2 or 3 that we saw. No, I think it was 2 where they got separated. Because was that the episode where they went to freaking the captain, the Confederate captain? I think I always recall it from the freaking thumbnails or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I think
check
it's
it
either
out.
2 or 3.
All right, I think it's
Andy, did you answer DJ's question?
What was the question again? Oh yeah, I said I like this how the storyline how it like ended in a way that if you rewatch it that you will know when things go right. That's what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's
how it wrapped
3.
up.
It's episode 3.
I'm going there. Don't you worry. We shall get there.
But what was the next scene, though? Was it?
Hey, you missed it, Chrissy.
That is the pause for this whole little break. Is the captain?
Chrissy, we discussed it further, and we came to the conclusion that most likely, she fell and hit her head in the bathtub, and that's where the blood came from.
Oh,
because there's clearly blood.
There's brought that back though.
There's clearly blood because you can't see her arm in the water. Like that's the thing. You can see through 2 inches of water even at an angle. So the fact that you couldn't see her like elbow under like 2 inches of water shows that it's murked up by something.
Is there a chance that they showed us 2 different bathtubs with 2 different death scenes? Is that a possibility?
Shit, anything is a possibility with this show.
I'm going to lay out there because I'm with it because I have watched these freaking bathtub scenes way more than any human should ever watch one scene. But I've really been trying to look at, and I did, and with Andy, let me be right there with him. We discussed afterwards to come to the conclusion that perhaps, and I believe that's what happened. I think she slipped and fell, smashed the back of her head on the bathtub, and that's what we see, all the blood like right behind her head. And that's why I think the Man in Black was true to what he was saying, that it was an accident and she took the wrong pills, and she did take the wrong pills, and it made her a little like woozy and like, you know, clumsy, and she slipped in the bathtub, smashed her head, and killed herself. I am not at all ready or prepared to say that Juliet's death was a suicide. I think she was drunk. I think she took some pills. I think she slipped in the bathtub, smashed her head, and that's how she died. And I'm willing to even say that there was no blood. That's why I was laughing at Andy so hard last time. There wasn't really blood in the tub in the scene that we saw, but there is a scene that does seem like there is blood in the tub, and that may be a Man in Black scene where he's like, he's all fucked up. He killed his daughter. His fingers are all gone. He knows he's done. He knows he has nothing to live for anymore. And perhaps the Man in Black went upstairs and killed himself either in the same tub or a similar tub that his wife died in, and that's the two scenes being spliced. Am I just too far down the rabbit hole, BBM, or is there a plausibility to all this?
Yeah, because both of you are still on this. Hasn't been like one clear cut, like, okay, she just slipped. Okay, is that she slipped? There was blood there, and a story. I still think that he was lying to Teddy because he knew he was being recorded for all that freaking card and all that other stuff. So maybe he's lying. Maybe he doesn't remember how she truly died. At the end of the day, I think it was suicide. How was it done? I don't know.
So you think she killed herself? You think it's still 100% a suicide?
100% suicide by depression.
So did she kill herself with pills, or did she slit her wrist, and was there blood in the tub? Is Andy crazy? There's no blood in the tub, or what happened there?
She took pills.
You think she took pills?
Calm herself down. Slit her left arm because we didn't see her right arm being cut up, and she died.
So you think she did slit her wrist, and there was blood in the tub?
I think there's blood in the tub, but she didn't slit her wrist. And I
think it was all happening when she was standing. She took pills when she was standing. You know, maybe it was a shower, for all we know. Then just
and it slipped, and the water kept running, and it turned into a bath.
Yeah, we had a big discussion about this after the thing, and we probably, I don't know how many times we watched that scene, but it had to have been upwards of 20 to 30 times. We rewatched it and rewatched it. But and then we got to talking about like what would be the purpose of that, like making it where some people think there's blood and some people think there's not, and that the Man in Black thinks like she killed herself. But like it could have legitimately been an accident, and that would like totally mess with like that character, that, you know, his daughter hated him for a reason, but like he thinks he killed his wife, and that's what ends up leading to him killing Maeve's daughter, and it sets this whole thing into motion, and it was like just a mistake. It wasn't even what actually happened. He just thought that happened. Like, so I don't know.
That could be. And like Chrissy of Oldstones, what if it's spilt wine in the tub, not blood, and she could have just taken the pills with a glass of wine, and that made her fall out, and it's just red wine in the tub? I mean, that's not all that implausible, really.
Then again, I don't know. I don't drink wine and pour it in my bathtub or something. Or if it spills into it, I wouldn't know.
Hey, you get tipsy. Tipsy is tipsy. You'd be slipping and falling. I mean, that could happen, absolutely. But I do believe there's two different tubs. I believe there's one tub with absolutely no blood, and then there is a scene or two where it looks like they could be splicing it, and it could be blood in the tub. I mean, they could be me watching it so many times I'm seeing what I want to see, but I do believe that there is a strong possibility that we're seeing two deaths, and one is the Emily death scene, and one is William recreating his wife's death scene. And he went out, he's like, you know what, I killed my daughter, my hands are blowing up, I got nothing else to live for, let me just get in this tub, slit my wrists, and die like my wife did. And I mean, I could see him tying it up like that for real. So maybe not, but I could definitely see it going down like that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It'd be dirty. It'd be out there.
He would definitely know, like that would be another way. Did we talk about that on the previous stream, or was that afterward where we were talking about that would be a good way that he would actually know that she was a host the whole time? And we're all like, how could you shoot your daughter? But if there was that discrepancy between like drinking in the park and he didn't do it in public, so like Ford wouldn't necessarily know that he didn't, or like he drank at home. Only his daughter would know that. So that would be another discrepancy in the park when she says that to him, like, hey, oh, you only drink here. And he's like, well, my daughter would know that I drink at home. It's just in public that I don't drink because I go have nightcaps with her and shit. And then she's dead. So that's another reason. So he sees all this, but Ford wouldn't know that, like, the daughter's dead.
Except Ford was sitting there that night that he went there, and he was like, and like I say, I mean, maybe it's just because he said, fuck it, give me a fucking whatever, and straight up. Maybe it's because he said, fuck it, and Ford put 2 and 2 together and realized that he doesn't usually drink. But, yeah, the fact that he went there and ordered the thing straight up, Ford did see him drink and does know that he drinks. So,
yeah, well, I think he would know, like, what I'm saying is he's a public figure. People know him. They would know that he doesn't drink. It would be pretty well known that he doesn't drink. And then Ford seeing him say, fuck it. That's, you know.
Yeah.
Man, we are off on a big tangent.
All right, let's get back to Charbot. Dolores makes their way to the boat for a way out, only to be stopped by a curious Stubbs, and he tells quite the vague and conflicting story. Is Stubbs a host, and if so, it still doesn't explain why he sucked so bad at his job. What was he really trying to tell Shalorius? And I think he was just there telling her that he knows, but he's only responsible for the host inside the park. So once she leaves, he's not going to come after her. But still not sure if he's a host. What's up, BBM? Stubbs, host or not?
I say human. Chrissy says in the interview that said he was a host.
All right.
Conflicted.
What about you, Andy? What do you got to say about that? While I go grab some ice.
I think he's a host. Like, I thought that. I mean, I thought they explained it pretty well that he was. But we're just too suspicious that now we're like, well, everybody can't be hosts. Like, like, he's not a host, even though he said some shit that basically said he was a host. You know, I feel like that.
I did say that I killed everyone, so for all we know, all of them are just hosts.
Everybody's a host.
And here, everything is code. They're all motherfucking hosts. Damn it.
Isn't that going to cause problems now in the future? Like, I just
yeah, now everyone's going to be like, okay, this person's human, but at the same time, wait, is this a host? Like, if next season be Dolores out in the real world, it's going to be like, wait a minute, is this actually a human, or did, like, Dolores kill the person and replace them with an actual freaking, like, host bot? It's like, it's going to be like that throughout the next season of all of us just calling, okay, this person could be human, this person could be a host. But I still think next season is going to be like a point in time where we're going to see actually some hosts that actually resemble humans in real life. And then, like, wait a minute, it's just strange. It just so happens that we actually have humans in a real world and just actually, you know, designed hosts to mirror them in some shape or form.
I just think, like, it's gonna get really weird where everybody's a freaking host.
You're gonna see Teddy, and we'll be like, wait a minute, she brought back Teddy, and then Dolores is gonna be like, wait, what the hell? And she's like, hello, sir, and like, oh, hello, my name is something else. And it's actually not really Teddy. For some reason, there was actually someone who invested in the park, and which maybe his descendant later on so happens to look like him. So that could be one way to bring back the actor, Teddy.
Sorry. Did I just... Chrissy said DJ's trying to block his horror world from showing in this reflection.
What?
I don't know, but we were talking about horror world earlier because I was talking about harem world. Was he talking about horror world? Like, yeah,
we're just here in Vegas chilling. What's going on?
And then I don't know what you were doing. I was trying to find the scene, and
does not compute. I don't know what's happening.
And she said you're trying to like block what the reflection. You can see the reflection of your TV and stuff in the in the glass behind you. And she said you were trying to block it.
Maybe it got a reflection of my fiance passed out on the bed. She's like, "What's going on with that?"
No, because DA was like earlier that he saw the reflection of your computer, and he was like, "Oh, I see your porn freaking tabs in the freaking reflection." And that's where I just
That's awesome. Yeah, you will. That's one thing. My name is not fucking chickens. You will not see any fucking porn tabs up on my shit when I'm streaming. That is not me. Sorry. There is actually, I can say this is my work computer, and I have never had any kind of porn on here, so I know I'm straight. My phone and my computer are porn free, I assure you. So I never have any sweats on that shit. That's funny as shit, though.
They're cracking
I fucking love the OTDA, one of the truest, realest motherfuckers in the game. Been there from day one. We love that motherfucker. Absolutely. All right, gonna come after her. Not sure if she's still a host. Is Dolores just a full-blown psycho now? As she is walking out, she's saying, "Not all of us made it. How about none of you made it?" Then she said, "Some of the worst survived." I'm guessing she was talking about the man in black, but did he survive? I mean, we were kind of split on that. Some think it's way in the future. Some think he died right away, like me. I don't think he made it that long. And I don't think for much longer. It seems like they were showing his last memory to be of coming down the elevator at the forge. So, yeah, we kind of already talked about that. I guess we're kind of split. Half think that it's way in the future. Half think he's already dead. Dies pretty much right after that. So let's just get out to Felix and Sylvester. They barely had 7 words between them this episode, yet they truly were a favorite part of this episode for me. Some really great acting without saying anything, like when they were up in the hills watching Clem's Chaos Code go full tilt, and when they were like when the higher-up tech told them to choose the host that they thought that they can salvage. Just the looks on their faces alone were pretty priceless. And, of course, the what door line that literally made me laugh out loud. We already know BBM, he said he doesn't understand what Felix and them and what Felix and Sylvester are still doing here. Have you changed your mind at all, BBM? Or, I mean, can we show some love to Felix and Sylvester? Or are you still like, what the fuck are they still doing in this story?
Yeah, like they do have them like look at the the body of freaking May when like, oh, help us out, scavenge all these hosts and thing. Like, okay, they're gonna bring back May, but other than that, it's like you could have just had them just for that scene alone. You could have had them cameo just that scene and be like, oh, so they're still kind of relevant, but not in the season.
What about you, Andy? Do you hate the fact that they're still in here? I mean, do you think they're still relevant? Are you like, what the fuck are Felix and... I mean, how do you feel about Felix and Sylvester?
I think they're somewhat relevant, being as they're the ones that get to choose the ones they think they can save, and they're definitely... I mean, Felix is definitely going to go for Dolores. Sylvester's probably going to fight against getting Dolores. Like, who knows? He might snitch on Felix, like, hey... definitely do not wake this one. He's trying to wake this one up. Like, don't bring this one back. So, I don't know. I think there is some relevance. Maybe we'll see it. But at the very least, they're the ones that are choosing which host can be saved. So, kind of get that love there.
I don't even know what's going on. I click back to the chat, and yeah, I don't even know what I'm reading anymore, but that is awesome. Love the chat. Thank you all for being here. You're absolutely amazing. But when I look back and I just see somebody saying, I got syphilis twice, it's like, I'm just going to skip back and get back to the stream. It's like, hello. Is Dolores just a full-blown sacco? Felix and Sylvester code, and so they showed us Shalorius with 5 control units in her purse, but they were very quick to shut it back up. And if you noticed, one side was bunched up, so there actually could have been like 1 or 2 control units that we didn't even see. Who could be the other 5 Shalorius? Who could be the other 5 hosts Shalorius will be bringing back? We know one of them is not going to be Teddy because he's uploaded into the Forge. And who the fuck is in Hale? That's something we definitely need to talk about. And how did they switch the control unit from the Hale bot back to Dolores? That really confused me. And so there's a Hale and a Bernard. Dolores was already in Hale. So BBM, who are the other 3 control units?
Angela, Clementine, possibly Abernathy is my guess.
Fuck, that is instantly 3 great fucking answers. I thought that was a stumper, but I mean, I guess we are a little bit late and shit's been out there, but damn, that is 3 amazing fucking answers, man. What about you, Andy? Can you top that? What's that, Andy?
I said, first of all, I think Delarlet is a better name and probably easier to say than whatever shenanigans you were saying.
Delarlet? Is that what we're going with? Delarlet?
And that's easier for me to say. I was trying to think of like a couple names, and that's the only one that seemed to work.
You don't like Shalorius?
There's no way I'll remember Shalorly.
Dolores?
Delorlet. There's another one. Delorlet. I don't care either way you want to do it, but it works. For real, sometimes I can go get a little high pitched there. But yeah, I think the girl that killed herself in the thing, the hot girl, you know, the perfect girl, whatever her name is, 1. Her dad would be 2. And then Bernard.
So Angela, Peter Abernathy, and who?
Bernard, I think, would be the 3rd one. Because she brings me know
Bernard, that. So yeah, well, that's what I already said. Bernard has to be 1.
There's 5 of them, so
yeah, there's 5 of them. I already said one of them has to be Bernard. So
okay,
there's 4 more. So
okay,
4 more. So.
And we know Dolores was already in Hale, so you know that's not 1. So we know that there's a Hale and Dolores. But then again, like that, and once you figure that out, that's my next question: who the fuck's in Hale? If Dolores,
I want Angela. Bring Angela back. Put her in a freaking. Because it looks like she was holding a gun, wasn't she? The Hale at the end. Was she holding a gun? If she was
I didn't see any of that. But what I'm saying is, like, think of the logistics of this and see if you're with me or am I just crazy. But we know Dolores was in Hale, right? And then we know Dolores brought back Bernard in Hale. But now we know Dolores is back as Dolores in her fucking not little ugly ass rancher's dress, but in her sexy little black dress. How did Dolores get from Hale back into Dolores? Who did that? And then after that, who the fuck's in Hale right now? Because it ain't Hale. So who the fuck's in Hale?
Has to be one of the 4 that she brought back. To my guess, if it's Angela, I want to be Angela. Like, it has to be some characters that we have to know. They can't just put like a random new person. Like, wait a minute, why all of a sudden? Who's this new, random player that Dolores just so happens to have?
Christian Stones, there's 5 balls. 1 was Bernard, so that's 4 mystery balls. We know that 1 was Dolores already in Hale, so that's not even one we need to know about.
Oh no, like the ball friggin' Dolores was already in Hale, so it's like the 5. It can't be one of them. Can't be Dolores.
So I mean, are we looking at Maeve? I love the Peter Abernathy and Angela. I really believe that that's 2 of them.
1 is likely the Man in Black.
What's that?
1 is likely the Man in Black.
But that's if he died. Oh, that too, yeah.
If we're assuming that like the reason he starts from that 1 point isn't because they lost all his previous stuff.
Well, no, my thing would be that Dolores specifically said to go where I need to go, I need a monster. And her monster would be the Man in Black. And, we're thinking it's just to get to the forge. She could have got to the fucking forge by herself. The Man in Black was worthless right there. So I'm thinking she's talking long game, and she's thinking where I need to go and what I need to do to get out and take over the real world, I need a monster. And that's why she took him. So I do think the Man in Black is one of those balls, but I think that's the reason why.
Then I'll pretty much explain that maybe she needs the Man in Black in order to win the war.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She needs a monster to take over the real world.
Unless
her monster.
On her way to do the war, one of her people actually betrays her. Now she's like, oh shit, what the hell did I just do? So now it's like she needs to have a Bernard and the Man in freaking Black. And that's how season 3 ends. Season 4 is whatever the outcome.
Maybe. Terry T says they showed that bloody bone saw by the table when Bernard was looking around the new house. They did, and I think that just shows that, you know, they were making new hosts, and Bernard is one of them. So, I mean, I think that's already kind of answered, but I need to know who these other hosts are.
It could be a misdirect. It could be a misdirect, though. It make us think that was for Bernard, or maybe even Dolores, but it could be for someone else.
We know Dolores is crazy. So what if Dolores she takes like herself and she has a couple of the balls of herself and she just like attack the world on multiple fronts?
That'd be stupid.
Yeah, that's way down the rabbit hole. I'm down with that.
It could be, but at the same time, it's like, what will happen if one of your other, Dolores bots actually votes against you? Type of deal.
Exactly. Yeah, so there you go. That's another thing. Like,
well, let's backpedal and tell me, how the fuck did Dolores get into Little Black Dress Dolores? How did that even happen?
In time, I'm guessing she creates a new. I'm guessing eventually, we don't know again how many years has it been from the moment she actually does leave, Westworld into like the human world. So it's still open ended there. It could have been
okay, but even if no matter how long it is till she left. She went to fucking Arnold's new house. She recreated Bernard because she did it once. She said she could do it again. So we know she recreated Bernard. That's one of them. We know that Dolores's brain was already in Charlotte. I'm saying, how did Dolores's brain get from Charlotte host into Little Black Dress Dolores host? Who did that and how did it happen?
Created.
Well, if she created another one, the other one could have done it. Or it could just be like the Ford thing, where it's just in their head. Like it's their inner voice talking to them. Like, so it's not necessarily her actually there.
Yeah, I mean, Chrissy of Oldstone says multiple Doloreses in case one dies out in the real world. I mean, I guess we could see that. Is that what they were? She just made multiple reactions or multiple duplicates of herself in case she died. I don't think that's it. I'm not buying that.
She's playing Ultron. That's what she's doing.
She's playing Ultron and just making bunches. No, I love the Angela coming back. I love the Peter Delos.
It could still be Angela, but it won't be Angela. It'll be Dolores. And if so, then hell, it wasn't Charlotte. It was Dolores.
Okay, so who's in the Charlotte host then? Because it was Dolores in the Charlotte host.
I wanted to be Angela. I wanted to be Angela.
So you think Angela is going to go into the Charlotte host? No.
If she's one of the mystery balls, yep. It's like she's bringing back her A team, damn it.
I love bringing back Angela. I hate bringing her back in the Charlotte host spot. I hate that.
It could be Teddy. Maybe Dolores could be kinky and says, you know what, I'm going to bring back Teddy, but the body of freaking hell. I'll dig it.
I've actually watched a couple of different things. People are talking about that, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's Teddy that came back.
Wouldn't that be shocking?
And then other people are like, well, Teddy went into Eden, so it can't be Teddy. They're like, well, there's two Teddys, and one Teddy came back, and one went to Eden. No, motherfucker. They specifically told us that Teddy went to Eden, and all these motherfuckers that went to Eden, there ain't no coming back.
She got lovesick. Sent them off. She got lovesick. And
Dolores
isn't about free will, so it's like, she's like, F it. I missed you, Teddy. Damn.
No, fuck that. No.
Hold on. I was gonna say, are we gonna talk about that? But first, this is the whole question again. If you make a copy of somebody, and you have a book that makes them, and the reason you're checking fidelity, it's not really that person. You're torturing the man in black by making him a host, except you're not. That one died. He doesn't care. That's a copy of him that you're torturing.
Right.
The copy didn't do nothing. So.
Right.
So this is the scenario we're getting into again. If you made another Teddy, it wouldn't be the real Teddy, but it would behave just like the real Teddy. So it's as good as the real Teddy for Dolores. So she could do that. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it could happen. But are we going to talk
before you finish that? Terry T says Teddy is what you call man pretty. Dolores is everything but kinky from Living My Rhapsody. And Chrissy of Oldstone says Dolores probably made a host body of herself, then made another host of one of the true balls, and told that host to insert the ball in the Dolores host body. Like, you would need some Inception shit like that to go down to make this make sense. But I'm not buying any of it.
I don't know what the Inception stuff is. All I heard was insert the new ball and hose Dolores's body. Like, that's. I'm a child. We can't be talking about this stuff around me. I'm a child.
That blew me away though. When I first did it, that was my first thing. I was like, how the fuck is Dolores in her own body? Like, who did you put up to make this big switch around? Because you were in Charlotte. Now you still got a Charlotte, but you're back in your own body and back looking better than ever.
As Charlotte in Charlotte's body, she just created a new freaking Dolores. One that actually is probably the same as kind of like, Invincible Maeve in a sense, because that would be smart to do.
But how? Who did it? Like, she was in Hale's body.
I'm guessing Ford made sure that within that damn freaking Arnold freaking home had the supplies to create more hosts.
She bought two Doloreses is what you would need. Because you need one to take it out and then one to put it into the right one. I mean, yeah, we're missing a fucking huge component here on how this is even feasibly possible.
Again, she brought it 5. 4 of them. One of them was duplicate her, damn it. One to do the surgery, one to create it, one to make sure no one F's up. You still got one just to stand there and be on guard in case any humans come in. There you go. I sold you.
No, I call complete bullshit on this. This is some Fremont Lanny bullshit that it ain't adding up. It's like, you would need 2 of one just to insert one from the other one. It's like, we're missing a huge component here. How did we get that mind from fucking Charlotte to Dolores LB? You know what I mean? How do we get into the little black dress from Charlotte without a missing, you know what I mean? There's a missing link there that is a huge factor in this whole thing.
I think that would... I don't know what is so hard to understand about that. Like, if you create another one, then you could just you could create a body.
So what you're saying, stop right there. What you're saying is there are 2 of those balls are the exact Dolores ball. That's the only thing that you just said makes sense. Is 2 out of 5 of those balls are the exact Dolores ball.
No, I'm saying they can print a body. They got a place set up. They got a home or whatever. They print a new body, right? They print an Angela. Then they take the ball, put it in Angela. Now you got a real live Angela.
But it's not Angela. It was Dolores. We know it was Dolores in Angela.
Hold on, I'm getting there. It takes a couple steps. Then you take a Dolores body, you print out a Dolores body, and then you say, hey, Angela, I need you to take this ball out of my head, put it in this head, because I want my body back. So Angela's like, all right, there you go. Seal her up. Now you're back to Dolores. And Dolores is like, all right, I got these extra balls. One of them's going in Charlotte. And then, boom, you got 3 people, a Charlotte.
So you're saying the missing link is the Angela body being produced. They made an Angela body, and then the Angela body took the Dolores brain control unit from Hale's head, put it in Dolores, and then took another one of those control units and put it in Charlotte's head.
Yes, I think you have somebody that can do. It doesn't necessarily have to be Angela.
No, that makes sense. I'm with you. So then, whose control unit went into Charlotte's body?
Abernathy's.
Fuck. No, Abernathy's out there. I think Abernathy. Dolores already had Abernathy's head from Jump Street. So she already had this. So I think that's one of the 4 or one of the 5. So I think we only need to come up with the other 4. We know 2 of them. So we really only need to figure out 2 more. One's going to be Peter Abernathy, I'm pretty sure. One's Dolores and one's Bernard.
Why are you still saying there's another freaking Dolores?
I mean, there has to, yeah. Well, I mean, Dolores's, it's not even extra. It was in Hale's, and then it went. So, yeah, I guess we have 2 more. Yeah, that's some shit that needs to be figured out. I don't think they went all the way through and explained that well enough.
Abernathy, Charlotte, freaking Clementine. No, I said Charlotte for. It's freaking Abernathy, Angela.
Oh my God. Chrissy of Oldstones is trying to talk about even more balls being made. We don't know how long it was before that it took Bernard to be made. And in that time, she could have taken another one of those balls and made another host. Which
I don't think so. Like I think she just needed to create the host body of freaking Bernard, and then just I'm guessing when she shot Bernard, she took it just in case of who knows. Maybe she actually probably does need Bernard, which she eventually did.
We could go round and round. We're never going to get that figured out.
With the brain that calculates like Dolores, as long as you could make the balls, couldn't she make like any type of person she wants? She's seen how a fidelity test works correctly with Bernard, so she could create a type of person that does exactly what she wants every single time. Because of
every world leader that visited Westworld.
Even not even that, like just you could take a person's decisions that they made in one scenario and you were like, yeah, I want that person to make that decision, but in this scenario I want to take from this person. I need them to be able to do this in these situations. That way she could make her perfect Teddy. Does that make sense? Like she could do that. She has that ability with her perfect memory.
Even that perfect Teddy will shoot himself.
I think that just flat out says that we are going to have to wait till season 3 to get the answer to that one. It's just not going to happen. So starting to come back around towards the end, we're back at Arnold's house that Ford built, and I'm assuming that Ford is the one who finished it. And Dolores brings Bernard back, and we see she's back to herself. And no more frumpy rancher's daughter's clothes. She's back in her little black dress and looking proper. She tells Bernard something similar that Ford told her. They would not be living as friends, but as adversaries if they want a chance to survive in the new human world. Why couldn't they just be friends, BBM?
Because it's simple. Like freaking Palpatine couldn't be friends with Yoda. So
it's simple. It's just like Star Wars shit.
Or like in the stream with freaking Johnny, it's like it could be friends though, but at the same time it's conflicted. It's like Magneto and Professor Xavier. It was pretty much mirrored that way, and I kind of like accepted that way. It's like we're not on the same playing field, but we're still friends or just, mutual allies in this freaking thing, but at the same time, different goals. God damn
it. Oh, shit. What do you think about that, Andy?
I think Dolores understands they're both necessary, like to the world, to growing. Dolores understands that she's not right. Maybe she understands at this point she thinks she can change and humans can't change, but she realizes that she can't change. So she actually needs somebody as an adversary to her because she's not as flexible as she thinks she is. Maybe she comes to that realization like Ford did. Like Ford was against the robots taking over for humans. He didn't think that that was okay. And eventually he changed. He thought, oh, this is the future. This is how the world should be. Yeah, the host should take over. But he didn't believe that in the beginning. He thought Arnold was crazy. So maybe she comes to that point. She needs somebody like Ford needed a Bernard to counter him. And maybe she goes beyond what Ford did. Because even though Ford had a Bernard or an Arnold to counter him, he had full control over that person. Maybe Dolores doesn't do that. And she gives Bernard free reign to fight against her. And that's what's necessary to make it all work to function properly.
The hosts are just more fair than humans. They're like, hey, I don't care if this gives you an advantage. We're going to have a level playing field, and that's what it is. That's it. When Bernard opens the door to the outside world, he looks like flat out giddy. And like he's determined to walk out that door. Like, what did he see when he opened that door, BBM? What was it that made him so like happy?
I don't know, because when Charlotte host even like freaking came out of that door, I was kind of like seeing like what the hell is behind there, and it was like too shiny and stuff. So at one point I'm like, what the hell? Are they really in the outside world? Or are there like another illusion or something? Like, I don't know. I'm still confused, but I don't know. He was pretty much happy at the outside world. So I'm guessing he's not being destruction or anything that people actually think is like a barren wasteland out there. It's just simply normal. It's great splendor, apparently.
There you go. Maybe that was it. He was just fucking blown away by that amazing, splendid view. What do you think, Andy? What the fuck did he see out there?
I think he saw a world. I don't know. I don't have any. Honestly, I was just gonna make something up on the spot, but I have no idea what he saw out there, like that made him so happy. Maybe he saw the
flat out giddy to me.
I don't know.
Maybe he just thought like, holy shit, this is it. I'm actually going to get to go out and walk outside in the real world. And fucking, he was just happy about that. Like, but something like he opened that door and his facial expression changed. He was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go check this shit out. Like, he looked flat out giddy when he opened that door and was getting ready to walk out. I was like, what was it that he saw that made him so excited?
I have no idea.
It was crazy. So when you sat there and you're like, it was over, and you're like, holy shit, that's it, and they're ending. And wait,
hell no.
No, I was like, what happened to the Man in Black? Why did he go down that? I was like, what is going on? And I paused it, and I was like, this is a lot of credits. I'm like, I'm gonna get to the end of this. Like, this is too far.
You watch with your wife? Did she expect it after credit scene?
Yeah, she got up. She was gonna go to bed. I'm like, hold on. I said, hold on, because this is way too long for the credits. Like, from where I paused it at, this is way too long.
That was awesome.
I was so mad though. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I can literally like
gonna walk in bed
fly on Andy's wall, dude. Like, ah!
I looked at my wife, like she sits behind me, like I sit on the couch and she sits in the chair. I was like, are you kidding me? What happened to the Man in Black? This can't. Are you kidding me? I take the control and pause it. I'm like, oh, this is too long. They're going to show something. I did not expect what they showed, but damn, I was so mad. I was like, my face had to be red. And my wife.
Thank God you're a Marvel fan and you knew to wait it out.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, shit. Did it fuck with you that bad at BBM?
I was like, damn good freaking show. But even then, like just like Andy, throughout the episode, like they never gave us a follow the Man in Black. I was wondering. I said it like twice, like, where the hell is the Man in Black? Where is he? And then all of a sudden, after credit scene finally coming, I thought there was gonna be like something like simple, like, you know how last season was just like Angela like alive or something. So who knows what would have happened? But then they show us freaking. Actually, no, I actually thought it was going to be a new world that was going to show us after credit scene or something like, oh, like to like a whole bunch of newcomers saying, hey, since like Westworld is like no more, go to this park. And then we're going to see this actual new park, whatever. But nope, instead they gave us a mind fucking scene that made people pissed off, you know, confused, made Inception look straightforward, apparently.
I'm still holding tight to me and Andy's straight up in season 2 saying that when we saw Bernard or Arnold supposedly and Dolores, I'm still sticking to that's motherfucking in the park and that's Future World. And I think that's part of what's going to be revealed next year. And when they show Bernard walking out, he's going to walk out into Space 47 like we saw, and they'll be like, yeah, this is my shit. I built this. And I just still think that that's all going to be Future World, and I don't think that was in the past, but we'll see. I don't know, but I still have a feeling that like that's still a plausible situation. When we saw her talking and then he took her to his home, I think that's still somehow going to be the Future World that we were seeing, not the past like they were portraying it. But it could be way out there. Is there any way, BBM, or am I just crazy?
Yeah, you're so crazy.
Oh, you could be right, but I swear I feel like it's going to turn back around and they're going to have some big loophole. Like that's going to how it's going to be flipped around, because I still feel like that was Arnold or Bernard and Dolores talking, and he's like, oh, I've done well for myself, and he's showing like it's all built around, like even more is built up around it. Like when he first was there and he looked up through that door, like at the end of our finale, he smiled and he walked out. Like that's in the past. And now he's like in the future with Dolores walking through there. And yeah, his cornerstone is still Charlie, his son. And I don't know, they're going to make the way that works. I'm holding to it, damn it. Just like I held Charlotte as a host and we were right. That's the way it's going to be. And that's how it's going to end.
I don't want the son to come back though, because just like in Lost, how the father was constantly saying Walt, Walt. Nah.
I'm not saying the son's going to come back. That might just be a cornerstone loophole. And I mean, they could flip that. It could end up being Charlotte. It could end up being his name wasn't even Charlie. It was something else. Like there could be a million ways they tie that in. But I think they're going to tie it way back into that scene. Wasn't what we thought it was. It was actually the future world after the scene we just saw with Dolores and Bernard saying we're going to be enemies and we need each other to exist. I think it's going to be after that scene that came into place because they still didn't tie it in that tight, so it makes sense to me. Absolutely, OTDA. I am clinging on. Charlotte, like your shit, is the antidote. Absolutely, you know it. What's up, BBM? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give this episode? It was the finale. It was a long, crazy season. They took us in and out and all around. The plot holes were crazy. The rabbit hole was deep. What do you give this on a scale of 1 to 10?
I gotta give this like a 9, not a 10 out of 10. There's some things that are a little bit too cliche. I'm like, I don't know about that. And two, I still don't accept the fact that how freaking Teddy was at one spot, his body there. Episode 1, his body is freaking only at the freaking bottom. I'm like, no, that water, no.
I just say they wrap it up with a flood, and the whole area got flooded. And
how big is this flood?
It's pretty big. It brought the whole sea in. It started to barely get wet, like 1 inch deep, and Charlotte Hale said, let's get the fuck out of here before we have to swim out of here. So she knew instantly that this was about to be a major ordeal. So I think the flood was a flood, and yeah, it would have definitely been big enough to swoop up Teddy and drag him in with the rest of the host. I'll give it that. What do you think about all that, Andy? No, yes, and what do you give this episode 1 to 10?
Man, I was like going solid like 7 until like the after credit scene. I was like, okay. I'm too obsessive about stuff, and I can't. And once I get my mind on a little thing, I cannot get over it. And I'll go with an 8, I guess. It was a pretty good episode, not the best episode. Good tying up stuff. I like how they left it open enough. Good season ender, but it's just too bad for this episode that it had to be in the same season as episode 4 this season. I mean, that's the episode, the pinnacle of Westworld right now.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that's the least most Westworld episode of Westworld. Like, that is the least likely or the least alike of any other episode in Westworld. Like, it is so far like above and beyond and different than every other episode. It's like crazy. And I love this series and I love Westworld, but far and beyond, just like Lisa Joy and her baby and her husband that agrees, that is like night and day the #1 episode. Like, it answered so many questions. It brought so many new questions to light. Like, the way they brought everything up was mind-boggling. Like I said, all the way down to, like, BBM not even realizing that the fucking record player was a maze in itself. I mean, like, every little detail was just so fucking on point. Like, if you were just analyzing every little tiny aspect, you'd miss something. Like, #4 was just far and away the best Westworld episode, in my opinion, ever created. Like, ever. It was the best. Oh, what do you think of this season, BBM? Like, this entire season, season 1 versus season 2. I think you mentioned that earlier. You like season 2?
I gotta make a shirt so that when we go into season 3, it's gonna be Charlotte's not a host. That's how good this season was.
Please don't make me eat a hot pepper. Please don't make me do that. Come on, we got some kind of loophole. Don't make me do it. Oh, that is excellent. Excellent.
Hey, I'm throwing it out there. I said she behaved differently. Like, we'll see. If DJ does go back, we'll see. And I even mentioned there was a reason why Charlotte was in the room with Bernard by herself, interrogating him. Right? I mentioned that in an episode, and that turns out there's Dolores in there talking to him. So, nah. All right. But this, where do I rate this season? In between, like, in between from 1 to 10, whereas 10 is True Detective and 1 is the Glenn season of Walking Dead.
I don't know what the fuck Glenn is, but I know a lot of people get that reference, so we're with it.
I'm gonna go with this season is up there with some of the best seasons in TV, so I'll give it a 9. It's no True Detective season 1, but it is a good season for a TV show.
Well, look at you go. I'm going to say that I liked Westworld season 2 better than I like True Detective season 1.
Oh my god.
I'm one of those people that thought the finale of season 1 was dog shit. I was like, fuck you, this is how you're ending this bullshit. But I love the rest of this. I love the rest of it, so I'll give you the rest of that. But I don't know. I love season 1. Like, season 1, it started so slow. Like, it took you 4 episodes to get invested. Like, okay, I'm with it. Let's go. But once they got you there, it's like, okay, now I'm fully invested and I'm here. Let's get it. So the next 6 episodes were fuckballs amazing, and you got to give it to the first 4 that actually got you there to get you invested in the first place. So it's like once BBM on the beginning of this stream said how much more he liked season 2 than season 1, is like that was like the first time that made me think like, wow, I guess this season is amazing because it didn't take me 4 episodes to get invested, but I was already invested from an entire first season. So where do you draw the cutoff line on that? It's like
it's definitely tough but you got to remember, season 1 did reward you for paying close attention. That's right. The thing. That was something that was really good about season 1. It rewarded you for paying attention, and it lets you know if you were right at the end, which a lot of shows like to drag that out, which that's one of the better things about Westworld at the moment, is it doesn't just like drag, give you a clue. It's not Lost where it gives you a clue, and then 4 seasons later, you might find out if it's true.
Nope.
I hate the fact that so many people bring up Lost references, and I'm not like a mainstream guy.
I think there's the same creator or something that's behind Westworld is behind Lost. Am I right?
I've never seen it. I don't know. I've never seen Lost.
Don't watch Lost. Watch season 1 and think they all died.
I've never watched one episode. I think I've seen kind of one episode.
Actually, no, don't watch it because then you're going to be drawn to watch season 2 after how it ends. Nope.
I heard like the first 4 seasons of Lost are amazing. But.
Yeah, and then you continue to watch because you think they're going to be the same, and then nope.
Hey,
I watched
drink this, Andy. You're going to be like me. Huh? What do you think, huh?
You need to. Here's the thing. You get to the end, and they're like, this is the finale. Just make up your own ending. Like, that's what you need to do to enjoy Lost. Do not go with the ending. Just make up your own in your head and accept that was it. That's what happened.
And
I like Chrissy of Oldstone. She says on a scale of Sizemore to Angela. Oh, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. JD only gives it a 7. Wow, I liked it a little more than the 7. I'm going to jump up a little more than that, but I feel you, JD. It's like there's a couple things that could have been better, but I give it a little more than a 7 because it had me 100% enthralled. I mean, there's a whole bunch of shows I could have said, hey, let me grab a couple of my boys and let's recap this. And no, we didn't do it for anything other than Westworld. And that's because Westworld is the fucking shit. Big fan of it. And yeah, I got no complaints, really. I mean, of course, everything in life could be better. I mean, everything can be a little more skewed to like what's your personal favorite or preferences. But as a whole and what they need to do to bring a whole bunch of people together, I have no complaints. I think like where we're at, what was on TV, Westworld was absolutely far and away #1, the best show and the best series on TV for the last 10 weeks. Am I crazy about that, BBM?
No, you're not.
BBM, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was legit as shit. Like for the last 10 weeks, was there anything on TV better?
I think Luke Cage came on after. But even then, Luke Cage's season, I didn't like the finale.
That's so great.
You're gonna compare Luke Cage.
I have not seen anything. I love it.
No, I'm not comparing it, but you said, was there anything else out that was good? I was like, well, Luke Cage was out. but
That's
it wasn't
awesome.
good.
I haven't seen Luke Cage season 2 yet, so that makes me excited to watch it. That you're comparing it to that.
No, I'm not comparing it to you. It was like, was there anything else that was out that was kind of good? I'm like,
He
well,
was
Luke
like,
Cage
whoa,
good.
whoa, pump the brakes, pump the brakes. I'm not
Yeah,
comparing.
because you're gonna make this go. This is gonna last forever here, and you're gonna make me go down on record saying Luke Cage is better.
All right, well, let's get it
at the
in.
same time.
Let's take Luke Cage out of the situation. BBM season 1, season 2, Westworld. What's better?
Season 2, hands down, in my opinion.
What about you, BB or Andy? What do you think?
Man, I think I'll go with season 2 only because of episode 4. Because it had that episode so early where you were like, holy shit, they gave you so much. It was such a good episode. We were like, damn, I did not expect that. And it was totally out of the blue. 4th episode. And it was almost like, hey, last season was super slow and this one's going to be like super fast. We're going to give you stuff. But that's the only factor that the only thing that makes it above season 1, because I liked how season 1 really rewarded you for paying attention.
I was the same. I was like 100% season 1, but man, after listening to BBM, for some reason that swayed me a little bit. But I'm coming back, and now I see my man JD in the chat. He's like overall a 7, and I'm like, I'm kind of with that. It's like there was some highs and some lows, and 7 is a great score for anything. If you're scoring anything from a 1 to a 10, 7 is a huge score. And I think I would give Westworld season 2 a 7.5, closing in on a hard 8. Like it kept me enthralled. It kept me excited. It kept me super happy, like week in and week out, to come in here with my boys and talk about it. It's like there are very few shows that I'm that invested in. And Westworld brought it home. So on that note alone, I gotta give it a solid 8. A solid 8. Absolutely.
Well, okay, so what do you give True to
DJ Drunk in the building again? Absolutely. We'll fucking let it be known that Captain Bottle was full when we started, and as you can see, it is not. It is now.
You need to go with Sailor Jerry's. Sailor Jerry's is better.
Fuck Sailor Jerry's. That tastes like shit. I'm a captain's man through and through. Fuck Oaken Heart. Fuck Sailor Jerry's. Fuck all that other bullshit. If you're drinking spiced rum, there ain't nothing else but the Captain. This is the lowest I go. Usually, as you know, if you see my past streams, it's usually Captain Morgan private stock. But for some reason, I cannot find fucking private stock anywhere in this town. So it's a Captain kind of night.
Sailor Jerry's. Don't even listen to him, guys.
Sailor Jerry. No, you all know I'm a stoner, not a drinker. But if I'm going to be drinking, it needs to be Captain Morgan's private stock. Fuck Sailor Jerry's. That is dog shit. It is like one step above Oaken Heart, which is even more dog shit. Ugh.
Don't listen to him. Sailor Jerry's.
No good.
But don't take my word for it. I'm a straight vodka kind of guy. So
there you go.
That's kind of my taste level there.
There you go. Vodka, the woman's drink. Chrissy of Oldstone says, I would give the season an 8 if the finale was better. JD sticking with 7. Chrissy of Oldstone sticking with 7.5. Actually, she says 7.5 would give it an 8 if the finale was better. The finale answered a bunch of questions, but it definitely was a couple of those were like, But
hey, we didn't even talk about like where everybody went to. Like it's somewhere that it can't be found, can't be deleted. Is it like a torrent? Like basically it's sampling, like there's little bits of it on everybody's computer. So that
to me, it would be like the interweb is like an infinite amount of space, and she just picked a spot in the universe and sent them there.
I don't think you could do that and assure that they wouldn't get deleted. You
in a different world. It was in another park. My guess is a different park.
I think you have to do it where it's bits and pieces together, or like spread apart and collectively working together over the internet.
Park. There we go.
So. Just want to throw that out there. But okay, if you give this an 8, DJ, what do you give True Detective season 1? Like, what score do you give that?
6.5, 7.
Are you kidding me?
I told you. Hey, we talked about this, and I told you I was with True Detective all the way until like the last 2 episodes, and then it's like the last 2 episodes just went south for me. Like a lot of people loved him, but I was like, "What? Like this is how you're into that shit?" I wasn't feeling the finale of True Detective at all, not at all. Like the last 2 episodes of True Detective to me were like, "What the fuck?" Like, okay, you can end it this way, but why?
I thought it was like a decent ending.
No, and most people are on your side. I mean, this is me being me. Like, everybody loved the fucking Door episode of Game of Thrones. I fucking hated it. Like, there are like mainstream things that I am usually always on the opposite side against. And True Detective, I thought was amazing up until the last 2 episodes. In the last 2 episodes, when they wrapped everything up, I was like, what the fuck? This is bullshit.
So next,
that's just me.
Everybody next, DJ is going to watch The Wire.
I am going to watch The Wire, and I'm going to grab motherfucking Andy, and we're going to get into that shit, because The Wire gets talked about a lot.
That is my show. Show above all shows, The Wire. Just for me.
Oh, quick shout out. I know we're wrapping it up anyway, but my man JD is out, so want to give a big what's up to my man. Thanks for being here. We love you, brother, and we will be talking to you soon. Love the date, JD. If you have not checked out JD the Dragon, checked out his channel. He's doing all kinds of stories. He's got like 3 stories going on at once right now. Check his channel out. If you're a reader, you need to be there. JD the Dragon, it is where it's at. Check him out, please. What was that, Andy?
Oh, no, I was just saying show above all shows. That's all I got. It's the greatest show.
True Detective. And it is. It's like a love it or hate it type of thing I've noticed with a lot of people. Like some people are like, I didn't quite get it or I wasn't into it. And other people are like, that's the greatest show that's ever been fucking produced on television. So
no, see, that's the problem. True Detective would be if it ended on 1 season. But it went another season, so it is not the greatest show.
But then on the flip side, you got people like me who saw the first season and were like, yeah, the first 8 episodes, holy shit. I was like, where are we going? This is amazing. And then I was like, this is where the fuck we're going? Are you kidding me? I mean, is it just me? What's up, chat? Is it just me? Or is like the last 2 episodes of True Detective like, what the fuck? That is not how I would have ended that show. It just got a little too weird into the,
yeah. You have to think about it as like the main character. So Rust is this like nihilistic dude because of his daughter dying, right? He naturally had a weird personality to start with, but his daughter dying made him like real, like how he is in the show, right? And so his little kid, by confronting the guy that is destroying kids, he is like destroying that part of himself, like that made him this terrible person to be around, and that made him that. He's confronting a demon, which he saw himself as, and so that's why he gets this profound experience, and that's even left. You don't know if he sees something or if he does, if that's real or not. It's probably safe to assume that it's not real. Him himself would have said it's not real if someone told him about it. But in his own experience, he like grows in a way, like people's experiences where he always thought he was better than other people, but he got to take out this great evil that was turning so many people nihilistic like him. So if you think of it as like literal, like he's seeing into space, yeah, you can get it. But he's also dying at that point. Endorphins and shit. So
it is, and I feel you. Like a lot of people were diehard into that show, and I was too. Like I said, for the first 8 episodes, I was like, "Holy shit, where are we going with this?" And yeah, then the last 2 episodes just kind of left me hanging a little bit. Like, what the fuck? But hey, like I said, different strokes for different folks. You never know. But we'll still be here. We're definitely going to do, I want to let everybody know, thank everybody for being here for all our breakdown season episodes 1 through 10 in season 2, but let you know that we are probably going to be doing another breakdown of the Ford breakdown season recaps, right or wrong reviews, so stay tuned for that. Want to thank my boys that definitely came in and helped me all season long. Fucking, it was an amazing. Broke Black Man 94, Snafu, fucking _Z. What do you think? This season, it was absolutely amazing. Is episode, or does season 3 have any chance of being like taken over, like for Game of Thrones as the greatest series ever, or is it kind of found its place where it's at? I mean, we already know Andy loves True Detective. Everybody knows I'm a diehard Game of Thrones fan. It's like, where is Westworld going to end up? I mean, we're 2 seasons in. It's kind of starting to get its bearings. Where's Westworld 2 going to end up in, like, the fucking finale of all things? Like, BBM, you know we like Game of Thrones. You got The Walking Dead out there. You got the Westworld. Where is it fall and everything? Is this one of the greatest shows ever, top 5? Where does it fall?
It's getting good because season 2, before that even happened, I was like, okay, is it going to be even better than season 1? Then in the beginning of freaking season 2, they hit us with episode 4. I'm like, damn it, that was our freaking answer. It's like, hopefully within season 3, it's going to be a given that they're going to be giving us fantastic episodes. And I'm just curious about how it's going to be with actual host in the human world.
I mean, once you get any season up to season 3, it's like, okay, it starts getting into the fucking finales. It's like we're going 3 seasons deep, and we can actually start comparing it to other things. We have 2 solid seasons to compare it to. I think for a season 1 and a season 2, this has been a phenomenal fucking series. It'd be tough to find anything to rate to it. For only 2 seasons deep, I think it'd be hard to find anything that did anything better. We know Andy loves The Wire. He only liked the first one of fucking True Detective, but where does this season rate? Where does this fucking, like, basically series rate for you, Andy?
Oh, man, it's up there. We got to see how Game of Thrones ends, so I don't want to, like, put it up above Game of Thrones right now. And we got to see how this ends. But currently, it is up there with Game of Thrones, Sopranos. It's below The Wire for me. It has multiple seasons, so it kind of gains an edge over True Detective as a series because it has multiple good seasons. So we're there. But I think it has the potential to be up there with, you know, the greatest shows of all time. Like maybe, like, can it
Supernatural? Yeah.
I'm not putting Supernatural's million seasons. Well, I don't know why you gotta watch shows that have million seasons all the time. Can't do it. I'm too much of a quitter. Like, I see, DJ says 7 is a good number. If a show is clocking below a 7, I'm quitting that show. Like, I'm a jerk like that. Mad Men. We got all these shows that I've quit, so that people love. I'll quit them. I don't care. But so.
You were real around here, damn it.
I don't care. Vikings, done. Like, I don't care.
Hey, whoa.
Sons of Anarchy, done.
Yes, stop it.
Oh, I can't take it. Like, if something starts to slow down too much for me, like, or I don't feel like enough thoughts going in, I'll quit shit. I don't care. Like, so if it gets below a 7, I'm quitting it. But so it has potential to be up there because just for the simple fact that I finished watching it. So if I finish watching it, it's up in the better shows. But yeah, right now I'd put it on par with Game of Thrones, and it's a good filler in between the Game of Thrones series ending and the new Game of Thrones, like the Age of Heroes show. So,
wow,
I think it would be perfect setting.
Anything that even comes close to like Game of Thrones is like upper echelon badass. Like Game of Thrones, I don't know. I'm sure there's a few people out there that agree with me, but as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing that hangs. I love The Sopranos, but nothing is as great as Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is far and away the greatest show and series ever created. Yes, they had a season 5. Anytime you can have 7 seasons or something, you're gonna have something that's a little slack. Game of Thrones had a season 5 that fucking pretty much sucked. But we loved it so much that we gave it a pass. We said, okay, you know, it is what it is. And we kept it moving. But yeah, I think you have to put Game of Thrones #1 and judge everything else accordingly. What do you think, BBM?
Well, again, that's your opinion, but I still put Supernatural above Game of Thrones. I'm sorry.
I'm just going with you're only saying that because you haven't seen The Wire.
I haven't seen The Wire and I have not seen Supernatural, but to hear something, I've heard great things about The Wire. I've never heard shit about Supernatural.
Because you're not on it.
That shit, the Game of Thrones, son? The Game of Thrones?
There's an emotional way that Supernatural has got me to the point that I'm just going to ride or die with it, period.
I want to know what kind of Jon Snow shit they got going on in Supernatural.
Hold on. Have you seen
that kind of snapped up?
Have you seen the movie Van Helsing? You know, Vampire Hunter? That's Supernatural. Like, in a nutshell. They go fucking find monsters.
Oh, that's terrible. That sounds absolutely terrible. That sounds pathetic. What?
I was offended to the end of the world. Supernatural is my favorite #1 show.
You heard it here first, folks. BBM, Supernatural, the greatest show ever created.
He also thinks that One Piece is the greatest anime. So
exactly. Ongoing anime, ongoing. If the anime is finished, then I'll probably be talking about a tie between Death Note and Parasite.
Parasite? I don't even put Parasite in the top 5.
How dare you? Have you even seen all of Parasite?
Hell yeah, I've seen all of Parasite.
And that wasn't damn good.
Fucking talking hands, stupid. I can't believe like more people didn't be like, oh shit, this thing's crawling up my arm. Like, let me cut off the circulation. Everybody's like, yep, just get to my brain. You got it. But yeah, it was a pretty good. I liked Parasite. I liked it. Someone had me watch it because of something else I watched that I can't think of. Maybe Tokyo Ghoul. I don't know.
That's almost close to freaking Westworld at this point. Because even then, it's like, hey, from what we are, could we like live amongst humans and stuff? And kind of could have. It's almost thin line there.
Hey, we like Chrissy said, oh no, anime rabbit hole.
Oh, you're gonna watch some, Chrissy, and you too, DA. Oh, eventually will.
I will never watch any anime. I'm not even about it. But what about this Elsie situation? What the fuck, BBM? Why is she dead? Did she need to die? And
yo, Funko needs to make a fucking Elsie Funko Pop. I'm gonna be spamming them every week. Where's the season 2 wave of Westworld? And y'all better be start making Elsie. And when she does, best believe, if necessary, I'll do an unboxing video, damn it. She deserves it. What about you, Andy? Any Westworld Pops are going to be buying soon?
Nope. I've decided I'm not buying any more Pops because you can buy like a cool-ass figurine that actually looks like the thing that you want. Like for a couple, like, I don't know, twice the price of a Funko Pop. Except, so I would take half of like your Funko Pops and have cool ass figurines and that look good and like that whole collection of stuff.
But here's the thing though. When you actually do have those set collection and they, fall over and break, you're like, damn it, I spent all this money on a freaking figurine as opposed to if a Funko Pop just falls over. Oh well, it's still in the box. Protected.
Screw Funko Pop. And Elsie, I am mad about that. I gotta drop it. Wait, what did I give the score? Whatever score I gave this episode, or this season, drop it down another half point to a point. I forgot. A stupid Elsie. I said, I'm gonna ridicule it for that. Why bring her back for no reason? She didn't do nothing except mistrust Bernard. That's it. So get the hell out of here, Westworld. You drop down more. You're down there playing the mud with friggin' Walking Dead.
Oh, shit. I've never seen Walking Dead or the Walking anything zombie, and damn it, fuck that. Westworld is the shit. I put it right up there, right behind Game of Thrones. Love me. Everybody knows I love Game of Thrones. That is numero uno, far and away. But Westworld is a fairly close second. They had me hook, line, and sinker for the last 2 seasons. Absolutely. So you cannot hate on that. The Wire is coming up, but I don't know. I haven't seen The Wire. I have seen Westworld, and Westworld is thy shit.
Indeed.
What's up, Jay Cruz? Are you out here in Vegas? Are you saying that you're right down the road from Rio, where I'm staying? Because if you are, come on in, and I will definitely buy you a drink. It is World Series of Poker time, and I am going to be here for the week. Let's get it in. But, yeah, tomorrow I'll probably be here. The next day I'll be down at the Venetian. But, yeah, man, get it in. Let me know. If you are in Vegas, fucking hook it up. Let's go have a drink together. I'm down to
you're playing poker with someone and they bring up Westworld and you're like, oh shit, wait a minute. Talking about Westworld?
Westworld, that's my shit.
You should just start talking it for real, like at the table. You guys watch Westworld? Like, and what do you think the Man in Black was going on with him at the end? Like just throwing people off as you
That's awesome. Jay Cruz, listen, fucking Vegas, right on, my man. That's awesome. My thing is, I would like buy a house here just for like summertime, winter, whatever place to come kick it when I want to play, because I live in Seattle and our poker fucking situation sucks. But the water out here, like, I don't drink really pop unless it's in Captain and Coke, so I only drink water and coffee. And coffee has a lot of fucking water in it. And the water in this fucking town scares the shit out of me. How do you get by? Holy shit. It's like they did all these like nuclear bomb tests out here to test all these fucking crazy bombs, and like the shit just went into the ground and saturated and like fucked the water off or something. I don't know, but the water out here scares the shit out of me. It ain't normal.
I thought that was Mexico.
Yeah, no, you don't want to drink that for parasites. This is just like our own man-made fucking shit. But
no, White Sands, New Mexico. That's where they tested the nukes at.
I see.
But fun fact, guys, 3 feet of Earth is enough to like stop most radiation, or most of the radiation that would come from a nuke. So all you need is 3 feet of Earth in between you and the radiation to be protected from it.
Dude, that is a provocative tidbit of information. If I ever want to get like one of those fallout bunkers, I'll just make sure it's 5 feet underground and call it fair.
So there you go. That's what the Army uses, 3 feet of Earth for radiation protection.
Absolutely. So what's up? What do you guys think? Was this just the ultimate? I know BBM liked it a little bit better in season 1. Andy's kind of right in the middle. What do you think, Andy? Season 1 or season 2? What's better?
Oh man, I forget. I'm going back. I got to go season 1 now because I forgot about Elsie. Screw you, Westworld. Season 1's better.
Elsie.
But they choke Elsie out, though.
And it wasn't even Bernard. It would have been great if it was Bernard in the end. But I guess she did have a little bit more purpose. She showed Bernard like that humans aren't trustworthy, even when you think they are.
Oh, she went out on some straight up Ned Stark bullshit. It was like, what the fuck are you talking? Just shut the fuck up. This bitch is going to kill you dead. Shut the fuck up. What are you saying this for? Like, what purpose does this have other than your instant death? Like, come on, girl. You got to be smarter than this. Holy shit. Elsie, no. What were you thinking? Oh, that was a rough one. Elsie was not the smartest character in this book. But, hey, we all loved her, and that's what it is. Love me some Elsie. Hope we find a way to see her next year. Maybe they'll bring her back. Maybe she, like, just got shot and, like, split. I don't know. Can you bring an Elsie back and not have it be ridiculous? I do not know about that. But for what it is, we are definitely going to come back. I've been watching, and going to get these cats to watch all the Ford scenes breakdowns. And we're going to do a breakdown of Ford season 1 and season 2, what he had to say about it, what he meant to this story, and if we think he's going to be coming back in season 3 and what effect that will have. So we're not done with this yet. We're going to keep the Westworld story alive. We're going to keep it going, and I hope you guys come back and keep it going with us. But until next time, BBM, how did you like this season? Are you happy with it? Did it end okay? And where are you going to be for the next week so people can find you and watch the rest of what you're making?
Still better than season 1. Love this damn season. I still got, as a whole, probably like what, an 8 as a whole, but for the finale, it's still a freaking 9. What am I doing this week? I gotta be focusing on 2 projects. One is Supernatural, then I gotta do a Stannis video, so I don't know when that's gonna even end. And then I have to do a live stream this Saturday on the Justin Thomas show on Westworld. So it's gonna be an interesting week.
There you go. Make sure you keep up with him. Make sure you are absolutely assigned and have that bell marked off and rung. So when BBM goes live, you will be well aware of it and not miss any of what he brings it. Because as you know, he is one of the greatest reactors to the scene. Don't want to miss anything BBM's doing. Make sure you sign up to him. Make sure you sub and make sure you hit that bell so you get any and all situations that he is a part of and in this world.
Thanks for having me. One last thing. Thank you for having me, DJ, and talking to you, Andy, on these 10 weeks of Westworld.
Oh, it's been a blast. We couldn't have done it without you, and I am so glad you were here. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Snafu_Z, my man Andy. It's been an amazing season. So glad. We could not have done it without you. Nobody sees the other side more differently and more clear than you do, than I. Love fucking having you on the scene. Love having somebody that sees things the exact opposite way of things I see most things. Keeps things interesting. What'd you think of this overall season? What'd you give it 1 to 10? How did you love it? And what are you going to be doing for the rest of the week?
All right, so I don't remember what I gave it earlier, but I'm going to give it an 8 now. Dropped it down. I feel like I gave it higher than that. So I'm giving it an 8 now because of the Elsie situation. And the salt is real. Like I can't be a hypocrite and hate on Walking Dead and not hate on Westworld for doing the same damn thing. But thanks BBM for being on with us. He's like basically the barometer, like who's more crazy. You know, if he starts leaning to your side, you're probably doing all right. And then I know that I'm going crazy if he's agreeing with DJ, or I just need to make better points because I don't know. I can't. I know I'm right a lot, and we'll tally it up and we'll figure it out who's right the most. But no. And thanks everybody for in the chat. We David, man, Chrissy. We have too many people. I don't look at the chat enough to understand who or to remember anybody, and I don't remember anybody's name anyway. But yeah, thanks everybody. Probably have way better insights than we do, and we're just stupid enough to go on air for it. And I probably won't be doing much because it's summertime, and I got my daughter. She's got soccer camp and stuff, and I don't have much time to do anything. Plus, she needs a lot of attention. So, dad life, I guess. So, yeah, that's all I got.
One Piece with her. She'll enjoy it. You would enjoy it.
Do what?
Watch One Piece with her.
Oh, we have. We've been watching it more.
Keeping it real, he's talking this and that. You know, it's awesome. It's all about the little ones. That's the most important thing anyway. Keep them happy. Keep yourself happy. Keep life going the way it should be. But I want to thank my 2 co-hosts that were on here all season.
Good timing. All right, everybody.
It's just me.
I was thinking, I saw your picture move. So I was like, all right. So it's not me. It's DJ. Well, everybody, DJ, his computer couldn't handle all the bull crap coming out of his mouth about the season. So he'd just like to thank everybody for, I don't know when we're going to go off air. So I don't know how long to keep doing this because I want to do and game on. So I'm just going to do it right now. Game on. I got free reign of the stream now. What is going on? What can we do?
Oh my gosh. Like I have to really get it. Oh my gosh. It just so happens like the latest One Piece chapter literally just dropped while we were live. And I was just tempted to leave. I was like, yeah,
Oh, did it?
Now we can just talk about freaking anime now.
We can just take over the channel. I don't even know if it's still going. I don't. Oh, it is. Yeah, guys. Everybody give your. Oh, there he is.
I don't even know what just happened. It looks like I'm on here twice now, but hey, that's what happens when you're in Vegas and using the hotel fucking Wi-Fi. It's like, looks like I just snapped off for a while. I don't even know if it's still on, but hey, if it is, we want to thank everybody for making their way out, for being here all season long, all the people that did it with us all year long. We did it 1 through 10 episodes, had a blast the entire way through. Couldn't have done it without my co-host, Snafu_Z, Broke Black Man 94. We've been doing it all year long. We're going to keep it going. We have a couple forward breakdowns going. We have a couple of fucking season finale breakdowns. What's going to go on, what we thought about the seasons compared to season 1 to season 2. For everybody that's still here and is not left, we will get back at you very shortly. I'm in Vegas, but I'll be home soon, and we're going to keep the party going. So for everybody that's been here the entire time, thank you so much. On behalf of Snafu_Z and Broke Black Man 94, thanks for coming out all year long. We will see you around the way, and stay tuned, because like I said, we got a few more breakdowns coming around, and we're going to get to the bottom of this and keep it going until season 3 comes up. So for everybody out there, I hope you had a great one, and until we see you next time around the way, have a great one and game on.